you don't know the Dark Side Phil area, the forum is like a black hole that only people obsessed with Dark Side Phil post into. Oh, a limited exception. So if he has any interactions with like PPP in the Kino Casino, they're just like, who? Who are these people? And they're very angry that he's like white knighting them. Or that PPP is, because apparently PPP and Andy have been like hyping him up as a Kang for a long time, and that's like upsetting the Dark Side Phil A-logs. And there's a conspiracy that Pay paid for Dark Side Phil's fancy new computer that unfortunately is a piece of shit and can't connect to the internet because it's just broken.
I guess I'm just never using this thing. I guess I'm going to return it.
It's lonely at the top.
I'm
That's
not
a good
tech
one.
Guy. No one in chat seems to be able to explain what to do of any sound mind, right?
Dark Side Phil was gifted a computer. This computer is apparently very high end. It's a flagship product from whatever website sells this. He was gifted it. Someone paid cash money to send Dark Side Phil this computer, which you would assume he would be very grateful for, right? I mean, imagine how you would feel if some guy just gave you a free computer that was very high end. You would be like, yay, thank you, right? That's how I imagine it would be. Dark Side Phil, however, is not like an ordinary person. So he gets this computer, and the thing with DSP is that he's not much of a computer guy. He likes mobile phones. He likes console game man. He does not like PC game man. That's outside of his realm of knowledge. So, but he wants to get with the times. It is 2024, and Dark Side Phil decides, okay, since this guy has just given me a 4-figure computer that looks awesome, it looks really cool. It's like this weird, like, cell. It looks like an object in a video game. Like, it would rise out of the ground and have, like, a smoke machine, like, making it all foggy. It would have, like, a really loud sci-fi effect as it's, like, unlocked. And then you gotta pull the handle and then run away with it because it's, like, super important and expensive. And it's, like, the objective. What I'm trying to say is it looks nice. So since he gets this really nice looking sci-fi computer, he thinks, "Fuck it, I'll put it together on stream." So Dark Side Phil is very interesting to me in that he has this very explanatory way of describing things. He speaks with a lot of confidence, and he speaks in this way that is very enrapturing, and he speaks as if he is very learned. When he talks and he describes what he intends to do, he sort of enumerates that I'm interested in setting this up, and I know how I'm going to do it. I know how I'm going to put it. I know where I'm going to put it. I know how I'm going to assemble it in such a way that it's the easiest to deal with. And it really makes you feel like, oh, he has an exact place. He has this set up in his mind already. He knows exactly what he's going to do. He's done this a million times before, and he's very confident in his ability to do this. Cool. So he explains that how he's going to set it up, and then he gets into it. He plugs it in, and he just fumbles around with it for a while.
Stuck on the webcam. Shoot.
Kind of cool looking, right? It's a really nice looking computer. Very fancy.
No wonder.
Definitely something that like a rich dad who works in accounting would buy his son who like loves Fortnite. He's like, my boy loves that Fortnite game. I hear him yelling upstairs with his friends about chicken dinners all the time. For his birthday, I'm going to buy him a $12,000 computer. Just walks into the store and just says like, I want your top of the line gaming computer. And like, well, sir, this thing right here has rainbow LEDs on every thing inside of it. He's like, damn, that's awesome. Give me that. So he buys it and ships it over to his son DSP, who's 40 years old, who then fumbles with trying to figure out where to place it. Does eventually get it set up. It does start glowing LGB, or I meant to say RGB for like the rainbow, but I just instinctively my trolley tracks switched over to LGB because of the rainbow. And then he has tech trouble. He's even timestamped this. He went back and added timestamps to this disaster stream so you know what's going on. He gets Windows set up, and that's about as far as he gets. He immediately recognizes a problem. And the problem is that the thing does not connect to the internet. He plugged it in with the Ethernet cable during the fumbling phase, and now 25 minutes in, he's gotten Windows set up, he created his account, he's ready to go. The thing won't connect to the internet, so he doesn't know what to do. And his chat is screaming at him to download updated drivers for his Ethernet port. And one of the funny things that he does is he somehow like capture cards his offline computer. And he's like, I don't even see the Ethernet cable I don't even see the Ethernet port. And then someone actually manages to communicate to him that a GBE is gigabit Ethernet. And then he figures out, okay, I do have a Ethernet thing for it. When people say you got to check your router, he refuses. He refuses to even entertain the idea of if this device has connected to his router successfully, because everything else in his computer room is just using Wi-Fi, I guess. But he doesn't even consider it because he's streaming. And it's like he doesn't think to maybe check to see if that port is disabled or something, or if it's like a MAC address whitelist. Like there are so many things that can happen at the router level to not allow a device internet access. It could be a driver issue, but it could also be a router issue. But he's like seething. He's seething. Like just 30 minutes into this, he hits his first frustration and he's like, yak, yak, yak. Well, this is why I hate PC gaming. Thanks a lot. Oh, this is so much better than a console. Like this guy just got a multi-$1,000 top of the line flagship gaming pre-assembled everything. Doesn't have to think about it. Plug the in, update the software. Boom, good to go. And he's just like angry about it. And he's saying, I don't want to do this. I don't like using computers. And then it's like, that's how he shows that he's grateful for this thing. And he's just seething on the stream for like 45 minutes. And I'm just thinking like, all he has to do, it could be a driver issue, but all he has to do to rule that out is by the way, he was complaining, this is my favorite thing. He was complaining at some point about how he doesn't have USB ports. I see your universal serial bus controllers. I know that you have you have at least 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It looks like you have 8, bro. Like, I think he's just counting USB 1s or something, but then you have at least like 3 or 4 in the back, and I guarantee you have at least 2 USB-C controllers. So you can take your phone and you can plug in USB-C to USB-C, you can tether it, and then you will have internet access regardless. Like, guaranteed. I have never had an issue, even with USB 1 plugins, where a USB phone to computer Wi-Fi tethering did not work. That has always worked for me. I've never seen it not work, even on old computers. So he's I don't know how nobody suggested that. You plug in the phone and you're good to go. You just then click the little search thing. It updates all your drivers. Everything's fine. But he's like just staring at the screen for another 20 minutes. And then one guy tells him to uninstall his driver. Like, uninstall the device. And he almost does it. He almost uninstalls his Ethernet driver just completely. For no like, why would you think that would work at all? Yeah, it's just crazy. Like, all you have to, like, you can get internet by just tethering, first of all. And then second of all, check your router, because you probably have a MAC whitelist. Chances are, when he was getting DDoS attacked and stuff, and he was like, the guy from Comcast came over and he was like, I want you to make sure that router is 100% secured, okay? I don't want to get hacked. I don't want to get DDoS attacked. You give that the tightest security settings that you can give it, okay? And then the guy did, and gave it like a MAC whitelist for all the devices in his room, and you just have to add this thing onto it, and it would work. So yeah, I don't know. It was really. I watched this entire thing. I'm just baffled by it. Like, bro, just plug in your phone. First things first. Tether your phone to it. Log onto the internet. Update your drivers. If that doesn't work, then check your router. I don't know. I don't know how. The really interesting thing about Phil is that he's incompetent. Okay, like, yeah, I got that. But it's not just that he's incompetent. There's lots of dumb fucks on the internet who have no issue. You got, like, King Cobra JFS and Boss Man, who are totally incompetent, but they still managed to get their shit up and running. How is Darkside Phil less incompetent, more incompetent than those people? And I think a huge reason why is that Darkside Phil doesn't have, like, an inner circle. Like, he doesn't have people around him that he trusts, you know, where if he has an issue, he just says, oh, I'll just talk to my friend who is good with computers and walk down the checklist of what to do. He just hits a wall. He's at the limit of his very limited knowledge. And then he just starts getting angry and starts pouting and, like, yelling about how much he hates it and complaining that things aren't the way that they should be and that he knows better. And it's a really bizarre personality set. I'm just like, how do you not have somebody that you know that can tell you how to tether your phone and check your router whitelist, bro? I don't know. I enjoyed this video. It's an hour long, and it's mostly just him being angry. So I'll play like a minute of it. Like just the last 2 minutes so you can get a vibe for how this is. But this is like where he's just sitting in silence staring, like angry the entire time. And it does, like from 20 minutes in, once he realizes that it doesn't connect, all the way to the end, he's just like sitting there with dead air, like just like grimacing at his screen as his chat tries to scream sense into him. And if anyone in chat wants to try to tell me why he has no friends whatsoever, I am genuinely interested how he's reached the age of like 40 something without having a single confidant that he can talk to about simple tech issues. I really don't know.
I guess I'm just never using this thing. I guess I'm going to return it.
It's lonely at the top.
I'm
That's
not
a good
tech
one.
Guy. No one in chat seems to be able to explain what to do of any sound mind, right?
Andy will help him. Andy will figure this out. Andy is the key to all of this. He's not likable. That's why he has no friends. So I mean, the dead air felt it. I love this is the best thing I've added to the overlay in a long ass time.
All right, so someone basically is telling me I need to download these two certain drivers. They know actually what motherboard this PC has and everything, but I don't know how to install drivers. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know how to install if I get them.
That's the other thing, is that the chat was trying to tell him, like, oh, just go to your other computer that does work. Download the drivers that you need as installable executables, and then port them over by USB. And he's like, I can't do that. I only have 2 USB ports, one in the back and one in the front. It's so awkward. It's such a bad design. He even says it's like form over function or something. Like, they don't put all the USB ports in the spot that he would prefer them. So he's like bad-mouthing the designers of the case. Like, the USB spots should be in the front, even though you can see where it's at in his room, and the can walk behind that. And if the USB spot was on the underside of the case, he would still be able to access this just fine. For whatever reason, the spots being in the back is really upsetting to him. I don't get it. But yeah, it's like, well, I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to go to the internet and download drivers. But I don't know. The tethering thing should have been the go-to.
People don't know how to do it. Like, I don't know how to install it on here. And I also have no open USB port to plug in a USB drive. Because both of them is now being used for my USB adapters. I guess if I plug those inside, then I could plug a thumb drive into the front of this PC.
He explained when he was showing the USB drives a while ago that one of those USB slots is for his super bougie fighting game controller. He has like one of those game pads that sits in your lap that you can use that's like a perfect stick for fighting games. If you're used to like the old console arcade game controls for fighting games. And it's just like, you're installing drivers. All you have to do is get the installer onto the computer, and then you can free up that USB slot. If you had one slot, you would be able to get these files off and then plug back in your mouse. But you're complaining that you don't want to unplug your controller. Unplug the controller that you're not using because you don't have internet access to play your fighting games. And then once you've moved the files off of your USB stick, plug it back in. Why is this? It's like Darkside Phil is tasked with the old puzzle of like the hen, the fox, and the grain, where you have to like bring over the hen eats the grain and the fox eats the hen. And you can't leave them together, but you have to cross all three one at a time across the bridge. You do the chicken, you do the fox, you bring back the chicken, you bring across the grain, you go back alone, you bring back the chicken. It's like that. It's like most people in the third grade are exposed to a puzzle of this complexity that they can then solve and use in the future. I have 3 things. I don't need to use any of them, but I have to free up a slot. How do I do it? I don't know. I'm going to return it. It's it's broken. I don't need this piece of shit.
This build is so weird because I don't have open USB ports. I have to go inside the PC to get open USB ports. So again, style over substance. The style is kind of weird, and it makes it harder to do stuff like this. Like, sure, if this worked fine, this style would be great, but it's just a major pain right now. Oh my God.
People are trying to help him when he's angry. Stop trying to help me. I don't want solutions. I want to complain.
All right, I'm going to have to use a thumb drive and download drivers onto a thumb drive and somehow load them manually onto this PC.
Somehow. What's also really funny about that is, like, if you want to do a complete offline driver update, then yeah, you can do that. But you don't have to do a complete offline driver update. You just need the one. Your update is something wrong with your motherboard, or if you have a network card, you just need to update that. And then if that works, then you can install the rest automatically. You only need the one. But he's acting like he has to install drivers for the entire computer offline.
That's what I'm being told. Although, luckily, someone sent me the information on how to do it, because I would have never figured this out on my own. Like, I don't know what motherboard's in it or whatever, right? Oh, excuse me.
Why do people... I don't know. Where's the guy that said this? Why do people watch this? I have no idea. I have no idea why people... I don't think a lot of them do. I don't think many people do watch Darkside Phil anymore. I think he gets like a lot of hate watchers, but his content is like... he has like a handful of people that watch him that he just milks really hard. Like, I think if you look at Darkside Phil's viewers and his income, his viewer to income ratio is probably one of the highest viewer to income ratios of any streamer ever. Like, he doesn't have many people that watch him, but the people that do, the dents they're called, are some of the most dedicated dents that have ever existed. Okay, that's it. He quits his stream after that and says, I'm going to update my drivers. Cool. Very nice, Darkside Phil. Can't wait to see what you do with your cool computer, bro. Oh, sorry. I wanted to move on from Darkside Phil, but I can't. Because guess what? Pay, and Andy Worski have locked in the Kang of hate himself, Darkside Phil. And a lot of people speculated that PPP bought him that computer. I saw some people who don't know who because if you don't know, the Darkside Phil area, the forum is like a black hole that only people obsessed with Darkside Phil post into. With limited exception. So if he has any interactions with like PPP in the Kino Casino, they're just like, who are these people? And they're very angry that he's like white knighting them. Or that PPP is, because apparently PPP and Andy have been like hyping him up as a Kang for a long time, and that's like upsetting the Darkside Phil A-logs. And there's a conspiracy that pay paid for Darkside Phil's fancy new computer that unfortunately is a piece of shit and can't connect to the internet because it's just broken. So they have locked in. He appeared in chat. And that was hype. He apparently said something and praised PPP in his chat. Where's the message at? Here it is. DSP Gaming Real says, because I can see someone saying they're an incel like 40 years old, but 24, come on. So I guess they were just talking about incels or whatever, and DSP decided to opine and say, like, if you're 24 years old, you can't say that you're an incel. You're just a late bloomer. That's the DSP take on that, I guess. But his appearance in chat was a catastrophic event, sent shockwaves around the sector that DSP has entered the fray, and it's just casually typing in the Kino Casino chat. Which reminds me that after this stream, 7 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, which I think is 10 p.m. Eastern, and what would that be? Like 2 a.m. UK time. So if you're interested in that, they're doing an interview with him tonight. Yes, tonight. So just I would raid them, but I don't think they'll be live. If they're live, I'll raid them, but I think that they're starting to interview DSP. Cool. Over the weekend, this was on Monday, June the Kang, who is a old school RuneScape alumni, such as myself, published a 3.5 hour long documentary on Darkside Phil. The one thing that's weird about it is that it abruptly ends, like right before the Kino Casino stuff. My only major criticism with it is that the VTuber shit in this is cringe. And if June is like a VTuber weirdo, it's real cringe to include all your Oshis in a documentary. Like, I just skipped past all that shit. There's 0% chance that anything that was in there was interesting or funny at all. So just leaving. That's my number one criticism. There was some stuff I didn't know about them. A lot of stuff actually that I didn't know, especially the older stuff was pretty well researched. Darkside Phil, I think, was expecting a more positive review, and I think that the really notable thing about the Darkside Phil documentary is that usually, I think especially with June, is that he tries to be sort of more fair and try to highlight positive things so that it's not just like an overwhelming sea of negativity. And honestly, thinking back on everything that I know about Phil, it's really hard to like sell anything about him. Like I said, that I think that he probably does put like the work, like the hours of work into his channel, which I think is true assessment. However, there's nothing really that he does that's too selfless. Like, I think if you talked about me and you tried to sum up the history of the forum, there would be a couple times where people would be like, oh, well, he did this for that person, and it would look nice. I wouldn't look like a complete asshole. But Darkside Phil never really has ever really done anything for anybody that's not Darkside Phil. I really struggle to think if there's anything that he's ever done that was generous. So that's one thing that kind of stands out. It does mention the forum a couple times. There's one thing about the forum that he got wrong, and that was with a thread that was deleted. There's a summary post in there, and I kind of wish he just asked me about this, because I would have told him. He has a way to contact me. There's a summary post that's not entirely accurate. There was a time where a couple people were doxing each of Darkside Phil's fans one at a time. It didn't just end. It didn't just like lose interest. I shut that down. I when I heard about it, I was really upset, because what they were doing was not just like, hey, let's dox one of Darkside Phil's fans like each day. They were very specifically trying to get him to do something, and I think it was to ban BSV. And I said, you can't do that. You can't extort somebody. If you say, I'm going to do X until you do Y, or unless you do Y, that's a crime. So I said, no, you don't, no, sorry. And I did end that. So that's what happened with that. They didn't just get bored. That was something that crossed the line. So that's why that ended. Darkside Phil, as I mentioned, was advertising this. He's like made a comment about it that was stickied, and he stickied a post about it on his Zitter account. And then once it actually started, and especially I think because of the bank leaks and how he very articulately broke down the expenditures and how they don't add up, and how he probably is the guy that spends hundreds of thousands of dollars on gacha games. I think that's why he changed his mind about it. Because I mean, it's hard to say anything good about Phil. Which isn't to say I hate him. It's just like he's kind of a selfish prick. I think if we were to try to sum him up, that would probably be a good way to put it. He's like a selfish prick. So. There was also something that happened during the documentary airing, where he broke YouTube. There was like 11,000 plus people watching this premiere, and since YouTube is nothing but DEI hires now, it broke. Like the premiere actually broke. It stopped loading. People stopped being able to watch it, and June had to just like terminate the premiere and publish the video early so that people could actually watch it. It was actually kind of embarrassing. I was kind of shocked. Like, wow, so this is Neil Mahan's YouTube. It's bigger and more profitable than ever before. It has deals with NFL. It has like its own TV subscription, but it can't premiere to a Darkside Phil documentary without breaking. That's kind of embarrassing. It's kind of shit. So the Darkside Phil stuff kind of ends with that. There's kind of a thought about what happens now, especially because there is a level of inception. Ethan Oliver Ralph of the RalphRetort.com, which once I verify that I'm human, is still suspended. Can Pig Tits not fix his website? Like, what the are you doing, bro? Oh my god, I'll get back to this in a second. Just take my word for it that this is a broken ass page. Even the Cloudflare page is broken for it at this point. Darkside Phil says, in response to Kino Casino clip, saying, "Dude, Ethan Ralph, a grown-ass adult, is acting like I just did in my early 20s in the fighting game cup. I know nothing of..." Which I assume is what that stands for. I don't know for sure. "I know nothing of the man, but this is some clown mode shit. LOL." Ethan Ralph responds, "Dude, you're DSP, begging for a working toilet. Sad. This is not to mention all the other grifts and frauds you pulled. It literally endless. I was going to leave this..." He's too pussy to say Twitter because his Twitter account's the most important. He loves his Twitter account more than he loves his own children. "I was going to leave this F star DSP alone, but I guess he wants the smoke. Detractors, get in touch. Kino Casino has tried to whitewash his history, and now he thinks he's big again, LOL, or Lamau even. Let's bring him down a few notches." Darkside Phil is going to heckin' expose DSP. DSP, you might have thought DSP was heckin' exposed by the 3.5 hour long documentary that aired to 11,000 people and has received hundreds of thousands of views in the first day. Nah, boy, you ain't seen shit yet. Wait until the top A-logs and detractors get on the Kill stream, baby. We got 100 plus viewers round the clock on the Kill stream. You ain't seen shit yet. You think that there's smoke? Wait until you're in the fire, baby. The fire known as the sector. Cool, Ralph. Good luck with that. I'm sure that associating with the deranged regions that are involved in the DSP detractordom is going to work out great for you, as everything that you're trying to accomplish does. DSP has finally declared, for reals this time, that he was the WWE Champions user called They Call Me Darkside Phil. He claims, however, to mitigate the damage of this reveal, that A, he only spent tens of thousands of dollars playing WWE Champions, and he claims that when the name of this account changed, it was because he got kicked out of his guild and could no longer play effectively, because you basically have to be in a guild full of whales to get the best rewards. So he could no longer really play effectively. So since the game was basically taken for him by the guild kicking him out, he changed his name from They Call Me DSP to Down from the Raptor. Sorry, he sold his account. And the person who acquired it and paid him money for the really high-ranking account with all the valuable pulls, paid him money for it, and then they changed the username for his sake because he had acquired the account. And then just so happened to rejoin the same guild on WWE Champions. So this is his way of handling the accusations and the totality of the evidence that he was playing this game under this account, because it just doesn't make sense that this guy called They Call Me DSP, who's playing the same exact game that DSP plays, also just so happens to be a mega whale spending 5 figures at least into this game, and then they have no relationship with each other. So big-headed from Kino Casino, he comes out and says this. Sorry, we're having tech issues today on the forum because of a service outage. How you gonna do me like this? I made you, you piece of shit. Is it that bad? Is it like DDoS attacked? Is this video like 800 megabytes? We may not be able to play. Oh, was the site as a whole down again? Cool. Okay. So we'll come back to that then. If at all. The consequence of this was that he had announced this directly before his stream with Stuttering Craig, who I have made fun of in the past because he appears to wear makeup and also do Instagram filters that are designed for women, to like make his eyes shinier and his skin sparkly. I do not know why he does this, but it's very weird and very obvious to me. He had prior talked to Stuttering Craig on the Side Scrollers podcast in March 2023, and this interview went very poorly for Darkside Phil because Craig was supposed to be like a neutral party, but in the days leading up to the interview, the detractors sent tons of information to Craig, and he did his own research. And as they start off kind of cordial, and then over time they turn up the heat. And Craig does a pretty good job of like wrangling DSP. But as he starts like pounding him on his bankruptcy filings and the financial stuff and the bank leaks, Darkside Phil just kind of collapsed on this and then leaves eventually. And his opinion was after the fact that Craig had it had been a decent interview, but in the following day Craig made fun of him on in responding to super chats, and Darkside Phil has always been kind of angsty about that. Well, they have this follow-up conversation, and the contention is that Phil was angry that Craig had brought up the bank leaks and the bankruptcy and the WWE shit, and he said that he was like trying to defame him and injure his reputation. And then at the end of it, DSP announces that he lied, basically. So the issue was, if he had lied during about being They Call Me DSP on the game, how do you have any right to be upset that that he as an interviewer asked him questions about it? Because he was lying, and he just showed evidence that he was lying. So how can he be angry? And after arguing about this and having like a little back and forth,
stuff like that, he basically went down the same route as many other.
Okay, he already kicked him off at this point. Okay, I see. This is the part.
That we can eventually work together in the future in some way, shape, or form. Maybe you come on Side Scrollers and we do a regular show. If you don't want to deal with a politics-driven show that isn't whatever you said, right?
Right.
You were extremely nice with your words, and by nice I'm being sarcastic right now. And when you told us to fuck ourselves and all that stuff, so I would like to give you a fair shake someday on Side Scrollers if you're open to it. Like I said, I want to make sure that you and everybody else knows that I am open to working with you in some way, shape, or form. But I hope more than anything, I hope you're honest, not just with your audience, but with yourself about the situation. I appreciate your time today, Phil. I got some dad duties I got to get done. Thank you guys very much for your time.
All right. Now hold on. Before you go, let me say my piece too. All right.
Sure.
It'll be quick. I promise.
Yeah.
This is it. This is the end. There's no more feud between you and me. Do you agree? That's it. We're done. We can stop going at each other's throats.
Phil, I haven't had a feud with you for 18 months, man.
That's fine. Okay, whatever you say, monetize the haters, but you don't have a feud with me. You want me to play Street Fighter with you. You don't have a feud with me. You want me back as a guest on your anniversary show because you know it's going to bring you hype and attention from my detractors, but you don't have a feud with me. Okay? But okay, fair enough. You don't have a feud. But we're agreeing to this now. It's over, right? We're done. Yeah, we're good.
It's over. Yeah.
Okay. So, and you were asking me now, a year and a half later, will I be a guest on your show, which was what originally was agreed to, correct? Like, that's what you're saying. It was originally, that was the agreement. We were going to do the interview. And then after that, I was going to have the opportunity to be a regular guest on your show like everyone else had been, correct? Right. That was the agreement.
And after the interview, I sent you that email saying, like, we were just disappointed, right? And the offer wasn't there anymore after the interview because we felt lied to.
Okay, so now...
With that said, I hope we can move past it.
That's what I'm saying. Now that we've hashed it all out, right? We're all good. You're saying you're extending that olive branch, and you're saying that that opportunity is there again, possibly. Not a lock-in, but it's possible that I could be on your show.
Sure.
Okay, I'm not interested. Go yourself. Okay. All right, guys. So that's
how he chose to end it. Like this long-winded, like trying to get him to this point just so that he can say, I'm not interested and go yourself. Oh my god, Chad seems to like that. Chad thinks that's Chad and Alpha. Okay, hold up. Let's do a poll since we're in the mood. Was that Chad and Alpha? It will be vote yes for yes. But 1 for yes, but 2 for no. Let's check it out. Let's see what the chat has to say. Early and often. I ride Base, Kang DSP, Kang, Kino, PPP would be proud, Kang shit. Gondolid says that's bitch made. Let's see, King, bow to the king, Kang, based, damn base, Lamau. Democracy is real. The votes are pouring in, chat. He's a bad man, but it's cool. Okay. The votes are actually coming in quite fast. DSP can take his cheap gotchas where he can, I suppose. It was funny, but it was a little bitch made. DSP is a cock, but it was a decent Maestrog. I just hate Stuttering Craig. One more. Okay, there we go. With 100 votes and 75% yes has taken it. 25% said that was not Chad and Alpha. Okay. I'm a little bit shocked at that, actually. I wonder how many of the people that voted yes are people who watch Kino Casino versus people who don't really know much about DSP. I thought it was a bit weird to try and like have this cordial conversation and then just say go yourself. Because I don't know. It just felt like an emotional outlast. But, I mean, I don't know if you guys saw the whole interview. It's about an hour long. But there was a point where Stuttering Craig in this conversation, and out of context, I think it actually looks worse for DSP than in context. Because there's an earlier part in this where Craig is like, well, you lied to us about the WWE Champions thing, so f*** you. Like, that's literally what he says. So when he says, go f*** yourself, actually, he might literally say, f*** yourself. And I think DSP was trying to call back to that moment when he said no. So in context, it actually does look a little bit better for DSP. I don't know. I thought it was a bit rude to close out like that. Super immature, but then again, it's DSP. That's probably a fair way to put it. Okay. If it's DSP versus a literal I'm always for DSP. Is he actually gay, or does he just look gay? He has like that pretty boy gay face, and I think that he uses Instagram filters, but I thought that was just like insecurity. Is he actually homosexual? Yes, he is literally gay. I see. Okay. Phil gave Moonpie a huge shout out. I mean, our conversation was pretty tame. I felt like I handled myself well. Craig has AIDS. Is that true? You know, saying someone has AIDS is actually per se defamation. You better watch yourself, boys. Okay, I want to make fun of this guy. His name is Cucktry Rhodes, and he's like a rage pig. Here's his wonderful community post. He wants to share with the forum updates about Darkside Phil. So this is how he writes. After 41 consecutive streams, Phil usually streams twice a day except on one Sunday a month because he streams once to react to paid Patreon member, shitty K-pop and Singaporean propaganda videos, and a day of trying to start drama with Low Tier God and raging and rage-quitting Black Myth Wukong. DSP's king streak has ended and showcased how poor the Kino Casino pay pigs are since they couldn't keep it going as long as the Vest streak. This signals the end of DSP's redemption arc, and they are a complete feltoning of both Kino Casino pay pigs and Phil. And then he wrote another post. So he wrote this post and then featured it himself, and this is what he says. Duty. So again, if you are like fans of somebody who's literally named shit, you're a card. You're like mentally a child. Judy clipped the end of the court jester streak. For anyone who isn't aware of what happened, his pre-stream was just him trying to start drama with Low Tier God. Then when it came to gameplay, he went back to playing Black Myth Wukong. He did cheese strats. Well, today he is raging pretty hard at the game and didn't hit the 150 he expected. The show ended with him complaining about how the game killed the streak and he was wage quitting it because it's the busy gaming season. Just like with the Vest streak, he stalled majorly at the end, hoping a final tip would come in, which has been happening quite a few times in the last week. Important note for our Kino Casino pay pigs that visit here. The DSP A-logs win when you don't give Phil money. It's something you kind of keep doing. As DSP pay pigs, he learned in the past, just because you're homeless doesn't mean that you're cashless. So this guy is like filled with a deep primordial rage at Darkside Phil making like $150 for like 8 hours of streaming a day. Like that upsets him. Like honestly, how long does he stream like per day? It's got to be like 6 or 8 hours, right? And you divide 180 by that, it's like less than $20 an hour. He's upset about that. He's like, that's too much money for DSP. Come on now. He plays gacha games. He sucks. I hate him. That's a bad guy. There's a small intermingling overlap between Kang Phil and Darkside Phil. Or not Ethan Ralph. DSP tweeted this out. A very ominous message. He says, I just want to test something really quickly here. Here it goes. Ethan Ralph. The gray clouds circle in, lightning strikes, earth shakes, cracks open, and you hear in the distance, what the f*** you say, bitch? Keep my f***ing name out your mouth, DSP! A really shocking display. And indeed, Ethan Ralph did crawl out of the ground, bemoaning the name Darkside Phil. And it says, no show today. I'm clipping and working on guest prep. Also a special DSP show tomorrow to prepare for an eventual DSP festival later this month. He continues. He says, Phil, you know what I'm doing for my birthday? Gonna visit my son, which you don't have because you shoot blanks. Panda Lee would never let you knock her up or else you're not capable. I lean towards the latter. The DSP Festival. Tentative date, September 27th. We will have guests. And then he posts this. I'm 38, Phil, at least for a few more days. This clown is trying to say I'm in my 40s right now, LMAO. I'm not. That's because you look old and you're bald, Ralph. That's why he says you look 40. Because you look, I mean, he's being generous. You look 50. You look like you're about to die of old age. See what Phil has to say about this.
Oh, look at this. These people are insane. A special DSP show tomorrow. What? What? Listen, I literally tweeted a name. I know nothing of the person at all, right? That's it. And I'm reading replies. That's it. That's literally it.
I'm going to assume that PPP told him, like, sorry, I'm bad. They got like 5-letter names and 4-letter names all mixed together in my head. Like, PPP just told Darkseid Phil, like, hey, if you just tweet the name Ethan Ralph, this guy will, like, give you free content. He will, like, bow to you and just offer content as, like, a sacrifice at your feet, as thanks for keeping him slightly relevant. He doesn't even, like, he has no idea, like, he can't even conceptualize, like, what do you mean a special stream? You're just gonna boot up a stream and complain about me for several hours? Okay, go for it. I mean,
What
even can do that.
Look at this. Is this real? Oh my god, someone beat the shit out of him and they got it on camera. Dude, that's f***ed up. Yo, he's getting pummeled. Oh my god. Who the hell beat the shit out of him? When did that happen? That's a Portugal fight? Oh my god.
I just want to point out the guy that posted that. His username is Missouri State Ass Eating Champion 2007-2009. So he didn't win 2008 for whatever reason. I don't know what that other year is. That's a very bizarre name. That's a very weird username. And it stands out to me as particularly weird. Interesting. I think there is a video by the Kang, Keith and Ralph, hollering about
Phil Burnell, the king of hate.
He's reading like a note off his screen or something. Why is he looking down? Look at the camera.
You're looking at the king. I'm coming, Ethan Ralph, but I'm coming your way. And I'm not interested in Metal Gear Solid gameplay or how bad you suck at video games in general. I'm interested in coming.
I always imagine him with like I just imagine his eyes are like closed when he does these like little like therapy sessions, and he just pictures himself in his head, eyes closed, and he's just talking, like imagining he's holding the mic like WWE style. It's like hanging from the roof. He's like, "Let me tell you something, brother. You think that you fucked with some hard detractors before? You ain't seen nothing. Darkseid Phil, I'm coming for you. Ooh, yeah, I'm gonna throw you over the table. I'm gonna bounce off the cords on the edge of the fucking ring. I'm gonna throw you overboard, Darkseid Phil." And all the while, everyone's just going, "Yeah, woo, yeah." And then he's just like sitting in his little avocado house in like Mexico, and he's just like yelling at a computer screen. And he thinks it's like the coolest shit that's ever been recorded and sent out. He's never lost any wives, by the way. I'm pretty sure. He never married Panda Lee, and he married the one woman that he dated after that. And I think the IRS settled his debt, so I don't know what the fuck he's talking about with that either. Very weird. So yeah, good luck. I mean, God, how many more people can possibly try to build a career off of Darkseid Phil hate? Like, he's entering a really crowded market, and the people that currently do the detractor stuff for Phil are like so dedicated. They watch like all his long ass streams that clip out anything that they can make into like a video and compress that down to like 8 minutes. It's like Ralph can't do that much work. He doesn't have enough gray matter left to do what like someone like Duty Streams does and like watch the entire fucking 8-hour long stream and make like 10-minute videos out of it. So good luck with that, buddy boy. Good luck with that shit. Cue clip of Ralph being beaten by Darkside Phil. What you gonna do when Darkside Phil goes rant on you? What's that thing? Goes wild. Goes wild. That's what the Hulkster says. That's right. Review Tech USA did a thing. Did this really get deleted? Am I blocked from an account that no longer exists? No way. He deleted his Twitter account. I didn't even notice. Oh my god. Dickers. So I don't know anything about Dickers, but he is like a pet of like PPP. PPP hates this fucking guy. I have no idea why. And I think that the reason why is that he's like unhumbled. He has never in his life been brought so low that he can't recover from it. And his obsession is with DSP. So he has like a huge, from what I understand, he has a huge hate boner of DSP, even though they're both like fat losers. He insists that he's better than DSP. That's all I know. Apparently his big drama that happened recently was that PPP said something, made like a joke. Either PPP or Andy Worski made like a joke about how his Dicker's ex-wife, he had like pictures of his ex-wife's daughter or something on his Google Drive. And for some reason, he went out and just acknowledged this. He said, yes, I've been hacked. Somehow, Andy Worski has hacked my computer, hacked my Google Drive, and found the pictures of my ex-wife's teen daughter in a bikini on my Google Drive. This is a serious crime. This is a felony hacking offense. This is a tragedy. And he didn't have any reason to confirm this, but it instantly made him look extremely creepy to do so. And then I think the other thing that happened is that he then changed his story, and he came up with this convoluted cockamamie defense about how he has like a separate phone for two-factor authentication. And what happened is that when Andy Worski hacked him, his separate phone was on a nightstand. I guess it buzzed, and it was like, do you want to let Andy Worski see the pictures of your ex-wife's teen daughter? And because it buzzed when it did this, it fell off and landed into a shopping bag. And this, I mean, based off what PPP and Andy Worski say, this could be complete bullshit. I'm willing to accept that, this entire story. But allegedly, what Dicker said after that was that because the phone landed in the shopping bag, it accidentally pressed the button to allow Andy Worski to access his Google Drive. But this was also like another tacit admission that he has like a secret secondary phone specifically for this Google Drive to like that only he uses, just that also stores his teen daughters or the bikini pictures of his ex-wife's daughter on it. It's a very weird progression of events, and it has brought more attention onto Review Tech, who apparently repeatedly threatens to stop streaming like every week. Like his streams are mostly just retirement announcements, and then he just makes another one, and he just keeps doing this and has been doing this for years. But he's been melting down. So we have a couple lineup posts of Dickers. These are him being tough on post or on Twitter, him acting like a tough guy. And then he has a feud with his editor. And why somebody with as little content as him needs an editor, I don't fucking know. But let's check it out.
Hi, Eric. I know you're a fucking idiot, so I'm going to explain this to you really slowly. Listen. Asking for information is public things. Videos. Things that are on Kiwi forums. Stupid shit that you've done. Yes, I want your blood type, Eric. That's what I want. Or I want to find out you have a stupid fucking book, which someone told me, about your wrestling career. That's like me saying I have a music career. Cry more. Hi, everybody. Richard Review Tech USA here. And I see many people are concerned about my mental health, my well-being, and want to see if I'm okay.
Okay, Chad, this is what happens when you cry wolf. I said that he is laying down for this, obviously. I said it's very remarkable that he is trying to be an internet tough guy, but he is literally laying down to do so. It's a bit much. And then I pointed out that he stood up for this one, so now you know shit's serious. He took the gloves off.
Hi, everybody. Richard Review Tech USA here. And I see many people are concerned about my mental health, my well-being, and want to see if I'm okay. I am okay. I just had a lot to say today that I've held back for about 2 months. I also see people saying they're concerned and that I'm a drug addict. I think the concern is feigned, so this is for them.
He's toking. And this guy's a regular alpha male.
Suck my fucking dick.
This guy's tough. Someone in chat said the Foodie Beauty angle. I was going to make that reference, but I didn't want to bring up Foodie Beauty on my own. Yeah, this is what she does. She would make all these videos ranting about haters, just like laying on a fucking pillow. But Rich has mastered this. He has mastered the pillow angle.
Oh,
no, we're back on the
no.
pillow. He got tired. After that big toke, he's like, I gotta lay down.
You leaked a Discord message. That was obviously going to get leaked anyway. Yeah, it's a new era of Review Tech USA, where there's no reviewing tech, and it's mostly internet blood sports. And people like you are in my sights. Good luck with that one. I'm not Phil.
That's true. Phil can stand up. Phil can sit on a couch when he does his videos. This guy's too fat. Can you just fight Andy Worski? That'd be a pretty good toss-up. Who would win, Andy Worski or this guy? Like, fighting? This guy, I mean, this guy's pretty big, but Andy Worski isn't like a crippled old man. It's pretty fair.
Whoever has stuff on any of these assholes, if you don't mind, no one is required to do anything. It'll just be appreciated. By all means, post it here. You could DM it to me if you're not comfortable. I understand that as well. I'm not holding back anymore. The ship is sinking, and man, I'm going to stir up everything while it's sinking.
That's an interesting. I guess he's hurting for money or something.
Oh, someone, would you mind? I mean, that's me being a fat, lazy f***. I could do it myself. Go to Kiwi Farms. If someone could send me a link to that, that would be fantastic.
KiwiFarms.st. There you go, buddy.
I am going to make on YouTube, not outside of YouTube. I just need to keep saying that because everyone on Twitter thinks I'm going to go bridge tonight. I am going to make his life on YouTube a living hell. Just by watching him and roasting the shit out of him. I refrained from doing it because I didn't want what happened on Twitter today to happen. Little late for that now, though. Hi, Eric. You're going to wish that you never, ever did what you did. All me holding back and trying to have rapport is now out the window.
He should just join the forum. Is he too fat to do that? How do I email this guy? Hold up. Google.com. UTech USA YouTube. Okay. More links. I need an email address. Sign in to see his email address. Can someone sign into... Look, I'm going to post this in the kit. No, I'll post this in the Rumble chat. Sign into this and tell me what email address is in the About Us. Like, just copy it and paste it into the chat. Just do it real quick. I'll send them an email. He's too much of a tough guy to join the farm. No. He'll feel better once I personally invite him. Let me open up my email quick. I have to type this. Gayfat@gmail. Okay. Or should I say, I'm typing this on my phone so it can't be long-winded. I don't know how to type on my phone keyboard. Subject. Join the Kiwi Farms Rich. I am the owner. You are personally invited. Okay. That's pretty succinct. That's pretty good. All right. Hopefully he'll join. Let me know if he does. Next, there's more to this. So this is Jay, who I believe is the guy that he's threatening in the other messages. And he leaks the voice message where Rich is thinking about life ruination, which I assume means ruining the life of the guy.
How do you have these many skeletons and with Jay screw up this badly and think this is going to end well for you? You know, I mean, look, like I said in the other, Jay could light my house on fire and people be like, well, you fired him. But after like the hate wave subsides, which generally it always does, you're going to look real fucking bad. That's another thing I could send to his employers now. And a random concerned consumer of a film company that he may work for, they may want to see that.
Remember how I said, like, when it comes to a pedophile, you can be, like, as much of a sociopath as you want, and, like, nobody's going to give you shit for it? When, there are exceptions. People can be assholes, like, on their own. But when you, like, go out and you say, like, yeah, I'm going to ruin this guy's life. I'm going to go after his job. I'm going to send emails to his employers. I'm going to try to with him. I'm going to cross every line that I can. You're basically, like, inviting the devil. You're, like, saying, okay, well, I'm setting the rules of engagement. And the rules of engagement are that I will do literally anything that I want. And I will go after your supply lines. And I will... with random innocent people to try and get at you. Like, when you set that as the rules of engagement, it gets pretty nasty pretty fast, because there are people who are psychopaths, who are, like, dangerous people, and they enjoy your hurting people, but they don't want to like, they're pragmatic enough to know that just doing that to random people is bad, in the sense that they could get caught doing it and it would make them look really bad, or it's just not fun if there's not, like, a game to it. Who will accept this kind of invitation to be, like, really, really big assholes to you. But you have to, like, open the door. It's kind of like a vampire.
Yeah. Let me just read this. Hey, let your audience talk about whatever they want. Also, Rich, my editor is not allowed to talk about... No, he's not allowed to ask for crowdfunding on my stream.
Is this what this is over? So his editor put in, like, hey, I don't really get paid by this fat... If you want to, like, support me, you can support me through this link. And then he's like, wait a second. You don't get to make money off of my videos. I need more weed money. So if you're going to put your ads on my videos, I'm going to, like, ruin your life, bro. Is that what this entire thing is over?
And Coco. No, I'm not even going to... No, Jeremy. Everyone has to call him Jeremy. I won't give it... I mean, his last name is public, but I won't say it. No, I'm talking about Jeremy, a former fan.
He's Chad is backing me up on this. This is, like, the most petty grievance that you could possibly have. Like, if someone is editing your videos for free and asks for, like, I assume for free, is like a fan, because he's saying he's not my editor. I didn't employ him, so I'm assuming that he's not getting paid. It was supposed to be, like, fan work. He's like, well, you know, if I'm going to do this for free, I might as well ask for a little bit of money. I assume he didn't make a single dollar off of this, because who the f would pay a video editor of a channel you don't even like because he has no fans. And now he's just going to completely burn his bridge and completely tank any opportunity he has to get more fan work for free. You know what I mean? It's a really, 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 really bad idea to go scorched earth on your own fans, buddy.
I hate using that word of mine. That's my f***ing character. I got the videos to prove it. Hate being that way. Get f***ing rid of them, you weird dork. For your content, not all of it. We'll dedicate like 10 to 15 minutes to you. Also, Jeremy forgot to say this. Get rid of f***ing Sexy Coco. You took my idea and ran with it. You don't even really like me anymore. I am going to call you out on every single stream until you get rid of Sexy Coco, you f***ing cuck weirdo. I'm going after everybody today. You ain't safe for me. Get rid of Sexy Coco. You don't like me anymore. Get f***ing rid of him, Jeremy. Well, actually, no, that's not true. I'm thankful. No, I would never want him to get a bag of Coke laced with. I would never want that to happen. Right? No. How did he demolish me? By telling lies that aren't true? How was I demolished? I would like to know. He could come on here and tell me. I don't care. I hope I mean, it would be a gosh darn shame. I mean, the guy who made fun of my daughter to the point that his fat, doughy co-host winced? Nah. I truly do hope. I would never want to see him overdose with foam coming out of his mouth and slowly die and suffer. I would never want to see that.
Dude. This guy has potential. How many posts? How many threads? Only 48? This guy has the makings. This guy has all the right. He has like the wings of redemption, like internet tough guy. He's fat. Like being fat is like an automatic like 10 points to being a lolcow. Like people just hate fat people. The internet tough guy thing, like just like fantasizing about people dying and shit is like impotent and cringe and gay and pathetic. That's also like a huge lolcow trait. Like Chris would do that too. Christian would say, just like, I want to tear that Clyde Cash, like that, because that's like when you're sitting there thinking, like, God, I wish I could just see him fucking choke to death. I wish I could see the light leave his eyes. Like that's the ultimate expression of impotence, because you're basically like if you really hate him that much to the point where you're like fantasizing about him dying, but you're not going to do anything about it. Like you're not going to go him. Then that means that you're like super emotionally invested into this, but you're also so impotent that you just can't like man up and kill him. So it's like a really pathetic thing. I don't have to explain it, but I wanted to elaborate. Yeah, this guy has potential. But how did he stay under the radar for so long? Was he like a real channel at some point and he's just like lost the plot after his second divorce? Like what the f*** happened? He's a flaggant. Oh, there we go. He was boring, flagging and doxing his critics. Jay Tard wrangled him. He's just pouring. He's always had low views. He's stayed on the radar because he's always been boring as well, now's the time, bro. You're late into your life. You ain't got shit. Your wife left you. I don't know if you have any kids. I hope not, but if you have any stepkids, they probably don't want anything to do with you. Now's the time, man. You've had this underlying current of being like a huge mega. It's time to unleash that. It's time to harness being a fucking mega retard and show the world what you really got deep down inside as a mega retard. I'm rooting for this guy. I think he can do it. He's an underdog. But we're kind of in like a lull right now. People are willing to give others a shot. You know what I mean? This guy, I think he can do it. I think if he goes in there and he plays his cards wrong and he fucks up everything and he acts like a huge card, I think he's got what it takes to get featured this week even. He just has to pull a stunt that it can be easily understood by someone who's never heard of him before.
I am not that kind of man. I wouldn't laugh and sit there and eat popcorn as he was choking on his own bodily fluids. That would never be something I would do. I'm a better person than that. Cry because I'm calling her a. Also said, because you want to know what happened to my daughter? Because she was on an antibiotic for her ear, she had a reaction to it. And she said, look, because Rich took his medical advice and he regretted it. I don't care you're a female. Don't ever let me see you. You have nothing to worry about, but don't ever let me see you face to face.
So his vax made his... So is this his biological
nice and safe.
daughter?
We'll never meet. It'll stay that way, too, thankfully.
So he vax-maxed his daughter with the jab, and then she went blind. And then someone made fun of him for doing that? Really? He's a whammon hater. His biological daughter went bad with Van Benson. And he still trusts the science. Safe and effective. That's pretty grim. I would never... Going blind is such a curse, you know? I enjoy using my eyeballs quite a bit. That's pretty gnarly. Feel bad for her. There's more videos. I'm enjoying this guy's content. This is good stuff. Look how he's so fat and hateable too. He's like bald, low T. There's something about the fact that like his mustache still has color to it, but his beard doesn't. That gives him this look where it's like he put his face up against a bear's asshole, and now he's got like shitty bear fur like stuck to his upper lip after like giving it a rim job or something. He just looks so gross and detestable.
Trick donated $2. How does it feel knowing that the six-figure income from YouTube is never coming back? How does it feel knowing that your antics online are going to be used to bully your kids in school? How does it feel knowing that all your fans hate your guts now?
Well, since none of that's true, I think it's all great.
What a code. This guy's pretending that he's gonna make six figures a year off his YouTube shit? Or is he implying that he still does? Like he has a big YouTube channel. Someone said that his channel's bigger than Jim Sterling, who has a pretty big YouTube channel. So how did he decline? Like what did he start doing that pissed off his core audience? Because I'm curious, because like with Jim Sterling, you see his decline, you know, that's because he out, he became super political, he stopped caring about video games, but still has to put on like a facade about caring about video games. Started injecting all this like wrestling bullshit into his fucking videos that's just garbage. It's painful to watch. What did this guy do? Stopped reviewing tech and acting like a... Okay, well, if he stopped reviewing tech, that would make sense. He started getting high and eating edibles. He stopped doing the news and started streaming. In-stage YouTube career when you start streaming. A weed addict. Boring streams. Stop posting daily clickbait content. He just gets stoned as f*** and rambles now. He just stopped making videos. That's what happened with Boogie. He just stopped making videos. Can't do that shit forever, I guess. Unless you really do treat it as a job.
You know, it's an awful shame that Andy Worski is now sober.
This guy knows how to not get banned on Twitter. I have to poach everything like that. I sure hope no boomers die. I sure hope nobody died on the beaches of Normandy in vain. Man, I really enjoy this person being alive. I hope nothing bad ever happens to them. I can just get around it that way. This guy's a master. I understand now.
Rich says he got $400 tonight. So he got the money he wanted. I'm not going to say how much money has come in tonight. I don't even know the actual amount.
Yeah, dude, you got it today because of what happened on Twitter. Wow. Like, okay, Jay.
Let's just...
Like, I don't, like, it again, it is not fucking jealousy, but even people who don't like me know that. I know there's no way every stream is like this because all 180 people watching it will be bankrupt.
Just say, I got more than $400 tonight. I got more than $1,000 tonight. I got more than $1,500 tonight. That's where
okay, cool. Yeah, that happened because you got pity bucks. Well done.
He's reading his chat.
Wait, yeah, Gundam was looking for
A weird cut. I was hoping there'd be like a thought capped off on that.
Somebody needs to go and take his keyboard away. Maybe his father could do it, or maybe his daughter that he should be taking care of should.
All of these people, if I had to pretend to apologize to these people, I'd rather work at Walmart again. Eric, you're another one. I'll watch my words. Don't see me anywhere. It goes from jokes and roasting to you saying that I should be taking care of my sick kid who's taken care of. Me and the mother live in 2 separate houses. Keep my kid's name out of your mouth, because then you'll have to worry. And I don't think anyone here will hold that against me.
What's this
Shut
kid's
the up about my kid.
What's this kid's name? This guy is so hard. This guy is acting so hard for a man that's so jiggly. You could like bounce him up and down. He would wiggle and wiggle for hours. Yeah, keep my wife's name out of your mouth. Blinderina. I don't think that's actually her name. His tits are huge. His tits hang massive in the way that you would think God's as big. Mooba Dickers Jr. A tough puddin'. Listen here, Dickers. We're going to talk about Blinderina all we want to. Blinderella. Don't try to stop us. You should be taking care of Blinderella. At this point, I'm going to burn everything to the ground to make money in the process. Prepare for my internet, lowercase I, internet demise to come in a spectacular fashion. I'm f***ed anyway. Might as well make it profitable. The gee golly, things are going great facade is getting old. It's, my name. It sounds a lot like the God, what was the name of that fucking video game that pissed everybody off? My name is not important. What's important is what I'm going to do. I just fucking hate these A-Log. Dude, you can see his nipples. You can see his nipples. Like, look, you can see his big nipple right there. They're so big. He's got like proper like massive like titties. And he's like he's got like milk coming out. It's like wet where his nipples are. That's really fucking gross, chat. That's pretty gnarly. I didn't want to see that, but I just saw that, and it disgusts me. Awesome. Okay, so Andy Worski apparently dropped a bombshell that the originally ReviewTech USA bought a computer, and he was going to send it to Darkside Phil. ReviewTech USA decided that he was going to troll Darkside Phil by installing keyloggers and backdoors and rats onto his computer, said that once he started using it, ReviewTech would be able to snoop through his files and become the ultimate DSP A-log. However, that did not happen. So instead of sending it to DSP, he sent it instead to his editor, Jay. So what he is indicating is that he has had access to Jay's computer without his knowledge for some time, and has been able to rummage through it and find access to his folders and stuff like that. Is that illegal? Yes, it is. It is a violation of the Computer Fraud and Abuses Act of 1983, I want to say. The hacking bill that the U.S. had, which is called the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act or whatever, the CFAA, I'm pretty sure is what it's called, is very broad. From what I understand, what I remember, any kind of unauthorized access to any computer is technically hacking. So it's not like you have to circumvent any kind of security measure. It's kind of like trespass, where even if the door is unlocked and you just let yourself in, that is a form of trespass, breaking and entering even. So yeah, giving a guy a computer with a rat on it and accessing it without his knowledge or permission, that's hacking in the same way that breaking into Amazon computers and leaking stuff is hacking. It's the same thing. So if Jay has actually been compromised like that, and if Review Tech is threatening to extort him, those are both like interstate felonies. I think that the complication here is that Review Tech is Canadian, I believe, and Jay is American. But I would almost guarantee that the Canadians have similar anti-hacking laws. There's no way they don't. And there's no way that, like, it's just the way that installing a remote control access device on a computer and accessing a person's computer as like a Trojan horse without their permission is blatantly unethical and almost certainly illegal, no matter the jurisdiction. So, other way around. So Review Tech is Canadian, or is American, and Jay is Canadian. Well, then even though Jay is Canadian, he can still file a police report. If this guy actually has broken into his computer, he should. I think the way that it usually works is that he would have to. Cause I've dealt with this before when I was dealing with foreigners going after my family and stuff. You should both contact your local law enforcement and also and then get like a case number or like a report or incident report number, and then also submit that to the FBI, or I think the FBI would be the appropriate person for this, and then submit your local police report and say like, this American has backdoored me, is extorting me, I'm a victim, so on and so forth. And they might actually take it up because why not? Chances of that are low because the federal government is useless and doesn't really do anything that doesn't benefit it politically. But sometimes it does do stuff. Review Tech USA did a thing that people are talking about. Review Tech's account is over 15 years old. It's one of the oldest. Did this really get deleted? Am I blocked? From an account that no longer exists? No way. What? He deleted his Twitter account. I didn't even notice. Oh my god. Geez, bro. Okay, let me pull up my account because I took a screenshot of it. I'm not even blocked. He deleted his whole fucking account. So Review Tech USA, a guy I don't know very much about, but who's like the pet lolcow of the Kino Casino, and he's getting a lot more attention nowadays because he's acting like such a retard all the fucking time. But he went ahead and deleted his account. As I mentioned, his account is 15 years old. It's a very old account. And more importantly, it had over 1 million subscribers. So he deleted the account. And from what people were very quickly thinking, is this like a Twitter thing? Can he like undelete it later? From what people were saying, you can't undelete a YouTube account. Once you file it, it's like it deletes all the videos. It's all gone forever. So bye-bye. So it's like 15 years of content that apparently people liked back in the day is just off YouTube forever because of this choice, and you can't bring it back. And I listened to the stream after he announced it, and his excuses for doing it were weird sounding to me. I didn't buy it, but I didn't quite understand what his motivation could have been. He was saying that the residual income was pennies, that his channel wasn't going anywhere, that he hated making the content for it, that he thought about selling it, but it's against YouTube's terms of service, and the way that when you sell an account these days, like, this was his main thing. He would have sold it, but because YouTube just bans people who sell accounts, you have to post content along with the new content. There has to be like a transition period. So literally, he didn't want to sell the account and make the money that 1 million subscribers was worth because he would still have to put out Review Tech videos for a couple months as the video progressed over to the new format by the new owners. And he couldn't be asked to even do that, even to do just a couple more Review Tech USA videos during that transition period. So he just deleted it, which is already ridiculous. But then as he was talking and he was ranting, it's like, yeah, the people say that some of the content makes money forever with ad rev. You know how much money Review Tech USA was making? It was making $600 a month, a pittance. And it was like shit talk, like motherfucker. $600 is like half your rent. $600 is like your grocery bills for an entire month, and you're gonna sit there gonna be like $600 wasn't even worth the effort to keep the account up, which requires no effort at all. Like, are you retarded? The answer is yes, by the way. But it was explained on the forum his real motivation. One of the things that Pay and Andy Worski have been counting down for months at this point is that Review Tech had been losing subscribers. And he was about to finally dip under the 1M and go back into the six figures. So instead of having the humility to just eat the subscriber loss and keep making a free $600 a fucking month every month for doing literally nothing, he deleted the account so that PPP couldn't make fun of him for going under 1 million subscribers. That was his motivation. I thought that was funny. That is, imagine, because you take 600 times it by 12, what do you get, right? That's a good question. $7,200 a year, which, in case any of you are adults in the US, you'll know that that's your IRS contributions. You can take that money each month and dump it into your IRA, max out your contributions, and if it's a traditional IRA, you don't even pay tax on it. It's $600 a month tax-free to max out your IRS contributions every year. And PPP trolled Dickers into deleting a free, fully maxed out IRA contribution every year. They took away his retirement account. If you think about it like that, it's even funnier. Like it's just like, how do you got that bad? Just let the account go over under 1 million subscribers. You don't care about it anyways. Why does it matter? So really, 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 really funny. Classic lolcow behavior. Just utterly shooting yourself in the foot for literally no gain and in some weird convoluted thought process that somehow spites somebody who obviously is going to keep making fun of him regardless. Just great. Excellent. Primo content. The other thing that he was talking about on his stream, and his stream is so fucking boring. It's like, he's just like a smug asshole, and he just sits there like a beanbag chair, a human beanbag chair, just smugly condescending and talking out of his ass. It's just insufferable to listen to. What he wants to do. So he still wants to do his Review Tech talks, like his stream it. He has like a much smaller streaming channel. And he talks about how he wants to get into political commentary. This motherfucker deleted his IRA contributions for free every year so he could go into the extremely blue ocean, undersaturated, the people crave political commentary YouTubers these days. There's not enough of them. Truly, there could never be enough political commentary YouTubers to fill the void. So he's going to throw himself selflessly into that market, that niche that craves another strong independent voice in political commentary. And then what's funny is that it's not even like he has strong takes, because what he was saying in this video was that he intends to learn. He's going to look some things up. Like, you're a 40-year-old man. He's older than that. It's like, if you have strong, informed political commentary to give, you should already be at the point where you've developed these opinions and know what you're talking about. Like, the years to practice for to become the samurai was 20 years ago. It's just absolutely delusional. Like, you're not going to be Hassan Piker. Are you fucking retarded? What is some fat stoner living in God knows where going to have to possibly offer anyone? He's never worked a day in his life. How could he possibly think that he has something to offer people? So yeah, just humiliating, absolutely embarrassing behavior, utterly shameless. And apparently he to make his political commentary, he doesn't even need his Twitter account. Oh, you're gonna run your political commentary empire with no social media presence? Like, why do you think Destiny has his Twitter account? Because that's how he farms engagement. That's how he gets people looking at his streams. It's how he baits people into live debates where he can get another audience to listen to him for the first time. And like, you're gonna mastermind this from the shadows? I don't think so. We have quartering at home. That's right. I don't know. I just found the whole thing just fucking preposterous. It's like, I don't know how they did it. Because they also, one of the things that PPP did was that or Andy Worski made like an offhand comment that Dickers had photos of his. I think he's correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not up to date on this. If I remember this correctly, Dickers is in a relationship and he has stepdaughters that are like teenage aged. And he has like photos of, maybe it's just his own children from his previous wife. I'm not sure what the exact relationship was, but Andy Worski just made a joke that he probably has pictures of these kids that he has some indirect relationship to in his Dropbox in like swimsuits and stuff. And it was so true that Dickers responded to this by freaking out and saying that Andy Worski hacked him, and that's how he knew about the swimsuit photos. So he just randomly, like without any sort of provocation whatsoever, I don't think this was like a 4 million IQ play by Andy Worski. It was just like a shitty joke. And then he just responds by like saying, yeah, it's all true. It's like, oh great. Good job, buddy. And that was months ago. The swimsuit thing was months ago, and I remember when it happened. And then it somehow like the breakfast machine, like the and somehow months later leads to ReviewTech USA wiping out his IRA contributions for the year every year for the rest of his life, and shutting down his Twitter account and deciding that he's going to become the next Hassan Piker at 45 years old and 450 pounds. Just fucking fascinating. Okay, so what happened here? Oh, okay. This is the tipster thing. Okay, so ReviewTech USA, I brought him up for the first time, and I don't usually talk about him because he's not my thing. I don't really, yeah. He's one of those guys that you have to know about to really get like a grip on him. But his thing about deleting his 15-year-old YouTube channel out of like pure mental reaction was just like so shocking that I bit the bullet and I looked into him a little bit more. There's an update to that. It was the speculation of myself and presumably other people that him deleting his channel that was still making $600 passive income from residual views was a move and a true lolcow thing. The subscriber count. That was the prevailing theory. He didn't want his subscriber count to dip under 6 figures into the 900,000s. So he simply deleted his channel and flushed a full IRA contribution every year down the drain because he didn't want to lose, his subscriber base. There's a new theory. And this theory comes at the behest of the tipster. The finest Praetorian of Queen Kefal's royal attaché. He got into the dirt with ReviewTech and leaked a conversation that indicated from Rich, invalid clicks numerous times. Once monetization is gone, you can never have it on any channel. Live streaming has been my main source of income since 2019, so it wasn't worth it. According to, I think Tipster didn't even intend to release this, but he did it on accident because he's a retard. ReviewTech apparently confided in him that he had been using clickbots, or other people have been using clickbots. He doesn't necessarily admit to doing it himself. Caused the AdSense team, which is responsible for all monetization on YouTube, to review his account to determine if he had been botting ad clicks to make money, which is roundly against terms of service. Any kind of click fraud on AdSense is extremely TOS. It's, in fact, I would say that defrauding their advertisers is probably the number one thing you can do to actually piss off YouTube. They like that less than they like child on their platform. They really hate it. So if he's being investigated for invalid clicks, it's a really big deal because they will pull the plug on his account. They'll demonetize him across everything if it's tied to his SSN. So he made the decision to simply delete his channel because he makes more money from live streaming than he does from the residuals. And if he can cut off that limb to save the rest of his body, then it would be worth it, which is a little bit more interesting. Now, this is what I do care about, the content. Apparently, DSP and Kino Casino have had a falling out. Let's listen. When you encode a video, please use a format that works on all browsers. I literally write a guide on how to format your videos so they can play on both Firefox and Chrome. Okay, just imagine PPP and Andy Worski. We'll play this in the other one.
He's DMing
gave all our money to Dark Side Phil. Damn you, China Phil. Phil's a bum, and his wife's fat. She's fat.
No, I'm just kidding, Phil. Guys,
oh, we love you, Phil. I'm sorry.
We love Phil. That's a bold move. I don't know if that'll work. Let's see what DSP has to say about it.
My wife again. All right, you ready? Ashton is up for ever bringing up my wife. He should never have her name in his mouth. And I've spoken with him about it. And if he continues to bring her up in his content, whether it's his show or mine, Smart Guys, I will no longer work with him. We've had it out. I talked to him about it. It's up that he would ever bring her up. It's one thing if he brings me up and he wants to razz on me because he's helped me out tremendously. All right? My wife has nothing to do with him or his content. And I swear to God, if he brings her up again in a negative way in his content, I will cut ties with that man.
Trying to extort the pay. Don't know if that'll work. To be fair to Power of the Truth, Cat is a big fat bitch. Just a factual observation. PPP says, it is a fact. I'm not sure why there's so much hostility surrounding observing reality. Maybe it's because he lives in a walled-off fantasy land of his own creation where black is white, up is down, and it's mature, positive content. Dude. What started this? What started making fun of DSP's wife? I don't know. Does anyone in chat actually know why did this start? It's been ongoing. DSP says she has cancer, AIDS, and is therefore immune to criticism. Yeah, but does she even show up on stream to like what would warrant being like, oh, cat is like fat and evil? Like, what causes this? It's just PPP being PPP. She is fat. Okay. Okay, so they've just been trying to piss him off for a while now. I see. So then he responds, or this is PPP. He says, what's crazy that Phil's solution to protecting his wife from a fat man calling her fat is to use her as... Sorry, it's my chair that just kicked. Use her as a human sympathy shield and reveal that she has a medical issue. As though this will stop trolls from making fun of her instead of giving them more ammo, just unhinged and sad. What is the medical issue? This is also will be. Did you guys call it cancer AIDS in chat just because he like anomalously said like she has some kind of issue, so don't make fun of her. It's like bad to stress her out. Is that like what he said? It's a mystery. Okay. This will most likely be the start of a weekly series where we grill Phil until he decides to stop being a massive pussy and play into the sandbox like a big boy. Reply guy Ralph even replies and says, if you want to piss off Power of the Truth at they call me DSP, replace him with me on Smart Guys. I've forgotten more about wrestling than he knows, and we will print money. Great. Excellent job application. Great audition, Ralph. One drunkenly drunk, hammered out tweet. That'll do it. That'll do, pig. That'll do. All right. Eyesore has asked me to play this. He said, this might be good filler for the stream. A while back, Noel mentioned that DSP treats his viewers like employees in the way he updates them on various goals, stream updates, etc. Caesar Robot 5000, who normally does King Cobra videos, did a great video that showcased this perfectly. So let's watch this video real quick. This is a YouTube video, and therefore it will not play in this browser. Oh, 1 second. I am downloading it, chat. I can still download things for now. But once Neil Mahan gets his way, unless we manage to deport him to Israel or not Israel, India first, then we have a chance.
Where are we at for the week? Let's talk about the schedule, the goals, and all of that, shall we? We are at 36 out of 40 goals attained. When we attain 40 goals, it is time for a radical pizza party, dudes. We're going to have a pizza party. Are we going to do Domino's, Pizza Hut, or Papa John's? All right? I'm going to eliminate another pizza right now. Ladies and gentlemen, I am eliminating Pizza Hut. I've eliminated Pizza Hut. That's right. You can't even look at me right now because I'm such an evil villain. Exactly. I'm such a heinous individual. Everything I do just exudes toxicity and negativity, and you can't stand to look at me for a second. I know. So it's going to be a choice between Domino's and Papa John's, all right? Two unique places, all right? One of them, probably the longest running one in America, Domino's. I remember that ever since I was a kid. They were the big fast food delivery pizza place. They do various different kinds of pizza, like the hand-tossed style, the New York style, the thin crust style, and they have various appetizers. So if we get Domino's, I'll probably get a regular pizza, a specialty pizza, and an appetizer. If I get Papa John's, I'll probably end up getting like a stuffed crust, a regular crust, and then an appetizer, okay? And you might say, well, when is this going to be? Because we want to know when to be there. I don't know. I would like to tell you exactly when it's going to be, but I don't know simply because it depends on when we hit our goals. 2 goals hit today, 2 goals hit tomorrow, and we're doing the pizza party on Wednesday. Okay? It could take longer. It could be Thursday. It could be Friday. All right? And there's nothing I can do about that. I'm not controlling that. It's basically you guys. So whenever you want this stuff to happen, all right, let's get it going with support. It's that simple. Okay? So the sooner the better. Let's hit some goals, all right? Thank you guys so much in advance. Definitely let's hit the goal. We already got a great head start. Let's hit the goal today. Let's get closer to the pizza party. I can't wait to lock it in and be like, we're doing the pizza party. It's going to be fun.
I really appreciate, by the way, how he sampled the really, really hideous fat black woman from those awful, awful Amazon Prime ads and used that to like make a poster out of it. That's pretty creative. This must be made out of like SFM because this looks like a room in Half-Life 2 or something. Oh, awesome. I would maybe I should do a pizza party. If I did a pizza party, you guys think I'd make like $1 million? Is that I can't even do that because Jesse does that. Jesse literally does what they're making fun of Darkside Phil for. Thousands of years ago, Darkside Phil played video games on the internet. Many people consider this to be a mistake. Years and years later, he is still around. He is still streaming video games, and he has accumulated quite a bit of personal reputation debt. But more than that, he has acquired some of the most obnoxious, grating, annoying anti-fans in the entire universe that he simply maligns under this blanket term of detractors. Now, there are some people on my forum who would like me to make a distinction. You have people who are making fun of Phil like any other lolcow. Those are the detractors. But then there's a subcategory, an Untermensch of this group of people that are known by the detractors as the Dent Tractors, because DSP's fans are simply called the Dents, and they are called the Dents because some of his biggest pay pigs are people who literally have brain damage induced by trauma to the skull, and they have a dented skull. So DSP's income is mostly done by guilt-tripping literal dents into pay-pigging him endlessly every month after month for the worst content ever put out. Because quite frankly, his video game playthroughs are the worst things to sit through ever. He is a terrible, terrible, terrible entertainer. He is awful. And it's impossible. That's what's so shocking about his like dent tractors is like, how do you even have the time or mental fortitude to sit through this guy's boring ass streams to find shit to talk about? Because it's just the worst thing. Thankfully, DSP puts most of his entertaining bits in like the first 30 minutes. He does these pre-streams that can last up to 2 hours where he just does what I've repeatedly referred to as like his business meetings. Like the first 30 minutes of his stream are just cold open, like, hey guys, thanks for showing up. My finances are really if you can give me a bunch of money, I would appreciate it. And then he goes on like that for 30 fucking minutes instead of just plugging and going. He does this every stream, and that's where they get most of their content. Anyways, so they're just awful to deal with. They're literally the worst people to deal with on a regular basis. I loathe when DSP shit's happening because then I have to talk to these people, and they're just like the most aggravating on the site, just in general. Anyways, PPP found this out firsthand. He started getting involved with DSP because he found a way to get DSP into his good graces, and he thought it would be really good for his show to have DSP do interviews and stuff. Get more people watching him. PPP found out that the DSP people are truly the scum of the earth. not all of them. Let me remind you, when I speak I'm talking per capita. Most annoying people to deal with, right? So not everybody, but a lot of them. And then PPP had this idea. He's going to gas this guy up. It is my genuine opinion, and I try not to take really obvious low blow shots at people most of the time. So when I say this, I really mean it. Darkside Phil is dumb. Darkside Phil is probably as dumb or dumber than like Chris Chan, because I feel like Chris Chan's ability to do problem solving, having dealt with Chris quite a bit, is as great or greater than Darkside Phil. The thing about Chris is that he's just so lazy, he never puts himself in situations where he has to solve any problems, whereas Darkside Phil is like he's like an adult trying to run a business and do a stream and keep a schedule, and this is a insurmountable challenge for him. And one of the things that is just really indicative to me that Darkside Phil is one of the dumbest people that we have a thread on the Kiwi farms. That's not like actually or has some kind of like mental condition outside of their control. Just like genuinely normal person, extreme low end of the IQ curve. Is that when he has an issue, when something annoys him, he will rant for 10 to 15 minutes about how this like basic problem was such a problem for him. Like setting up restream.io to simulcast to Kick and Twitch at the same time. He ranted for 5 to 10 minutes about how aggravating it was and how he did all this work and it was so difficult and so painful. And it's just like, this is something that anybody with any level of experience in streaming, never mind one of the longest running podcasters, video game players in the world, one of the first to start and the longest going of all time, should have no issue setting up Restream. Restream.io, all you do is you go to their site, you plug in the stream URL and stream keys exactly like you do with OBS, and then you change the one in your OBS to the Restream.io. That's it. It's 2 steps. It's anyone can figure this out, and he went on and on. So I'm just like, okay, you hit any kind of issue, and it is like a genuine world-shattering problem for you, where it takes you an hour to figure out basic tasks. And it's like, this is the kind of person that you need, that people make signs for, you know, that people put warning labels on products for. Like, you actually have to tell this how to wash his ass with. That's why there are instructions on soap, because it's like, if you don't put instructions on soap for this guy, he's going to take an hour to figure out why his ass doesn't smell good when he gets out of the shower. So dumb is what I'm saying. Dumb. And PPP has him on stream, and this is a really rare occurrence for you. For him, sorry. He is shy. he gets bullied so much, and his defense mechanism as a low IQ person who gets a lot of shit is that he just doesn't make appearances. Because if he did that, then he would put himself at risk. And sure enough, every single time he does take one of these ventures, it ends up backfiring on him. But that's what he does. So when he started making these appearances on PPP stream, PPP gassed him up hard. PPP would call him king, call him my liege. Like, he would do all these things that were like performative, and it's so obvious what he was doing. It was so obvious that he was trying to build up this guy's ego so he would do things. He sits on his ass doing the same thing year after year, and the dent tractors try to squeeze out whatever they can get from this dry, crystallized, rock hard stone that has been a stone for over half a decade, and they're still trying to wring that dry. And PPP finally has the opportunity and the smarts to try and build this guy up so that he actually has enough ego and enough self-confidence to go out and make mistakes again, which he would obviously do because he's dumb and he can't help it. If he attempts to do anything, he will fail at it, and it will be funny. So it's just so obvious what he's doing, but people were enraged with him, enraged with PPP, screaming at him, going on Twitter and seething at him, sending butthole pictures out, making fun of him. People on the forum were even angry, like, I hate hearing people compliment DSP. DSP is getting so many compliments from PPP, and I don't get any compliments at all. It's not fair. And it's just like the most dumb shit responses possible to what is the most obvious ruse cruise that has ever been undertaken. The maiden voyage of a ruse cruise so great that anyone across the planet could see what it was. And it was like, the dent tractors were still angry at him. And it's just like, just let it go. So over months, DSP is a recurring guest of the stream. They're trying to get him to do things. He goes on this limb and he talks to me. He doesn't talk to any of his detractors, but he talks to me. So PPP was so persuasive that he managed to get me and DSP to have a conversation for like an hour. And that's crazy because it's hard to oversell just how much of a recluse hermit DSP is when it comes to interacting with other streamers. Then they try to get him to do XYZ, and they kind of realize at some point there's not so much you can do with Phil, because he is so dumb and he's not very funny. If you get Chris Chan in a conversation with a normal person, like, it doesn't matter who it is, and this person just tries to talk to Chris will blurt out the most insane shit you've ever heard. And it's just like, it's so shocking that it makes you laugh, because laughter is a response of surprise. And that's what makes Chris so funny, is that he has in his head all these things that he cares about that only exist in his head. And because he has autism, he doesn't understand the theory of mind. And he doesn't understand what other people do and do not know, and what other people would and would not expect for him to say. So he'll reference something that makes absolute perfect sense to him, but it's just like this, what the f*** are you talking about thing. DSP is not that. DSP has theory of mind, but his mind is very small. So when he talks about small things. And it's just not good entertainment in the way that Chris is. So PPP hits the wall eventually, and he's like, okay, this guy sucks. And he was doing a thing that would annoy him, where DSP, because they're trying to maintain a friendship with him, kind of, for the sake of the content. DSP would show up in their chat, and he would spam the same unfunny joke over and over. I actually remember PPP complaining about this to me, that DSP will show up in their chat and he'll do this thing that DSP's biggest dent pay pig would do for him in his streams. The guy would spam the same joke over and over again until DSP was forced to read it. Darkside Phil would literally reproduce this in Kino Casino's chat and spam the same joke for literally like minutes at a time until PPP or Andy were like forced to acknowledge that he was doing this in the chat. So to give you an idea of what kind of IQ we're talking about here, and the level of desperation for approval and affirmation from the Kino Casino. And then I think it was around this point where PPP probably decided this is not worth it. So they're looking for an out, and they're looking for a way to kind of bake him. And I gotta say, PPP is heartless in a way that I can't be. Even when I was interacting with Chris, I'm not trying to find a way to this guy over, but from the beginning. So you have to watch your back around PPP chat. Don't ever get too comfy, chat. But he was just very openly like, yeah, we're setting this idiot up to fail. And they're looking for an out for it. And it was over. I want to say that it started because PPP said something about Cat being fat. What it was, if I remember correctly, and I listened to like the entire 8-hour stream they did on Cat. But if I remember correctly, DSP backed out of a arrangement. PPP had set up this whole thing that he was going to do with Darkside Phil. And Darkside Phil, at the last second, backed out. And he used his bunny rabbit and his wife as an excuse at the same time. He said that his wife was like too fat to have kids, had ovarian issues. They're too old. Phil was like 40. I think Kat is only a couple years younger than him. And he was like, I want kids. I want a family, but we're too old now. So, and she has ovarian issues and she has medical issues and she became super religious, just trauma dumped on PPP of all people. Here's all the issues in my life. Here's the intimate sort of details of my personal relationships, the medical history of my spouse, and just like for no reason. Could just said, sorry, bro, something came up. I can't do it. But then he said, after all this, after this trauma dump about his wife and how sick she is, he then says that his bunny died. He has a secret bunny. Nobody knows about the secret bunny, but the secret bunny died. And the secret bunny was a replacement child. Told PPP that this bunny was a replacement child for a family that cannot have children, and said that's why I can't show up on your Tekken 7 stream or something. That was the excuse he came up to excuse not doing like a video game thing with Medicare or some shit. And it was just like completely unnecessary. And then at some point, PPP said that Kat was fat, and this upset Darkside Phil. When he's like, you can't say my wife was fat because you know that she has medical issues, and so you can't talk about her anymore. And PPP said no, and he kept calling her fat. So Darkside Phil then threatened to release their DMs together, which was to PPP's benefit, because I remember correctly, he didn't know how. PPP is technically inept. Unless it's like sports or food or Jesus. Those are the things that he's very, very knowledgeable about. And also selling air conditioning units. If I remember correctly. He's a salesman who loves to eat, and he loves sports ball. He loves hockey. He loves wrestling. And he especially loves his Jesus. That's PPP in a nutshell, I feel like. And so he doesn't know how. My point is that he doesn't know how to export his DMs. Then Phil said, "Aha! I will export the DMs." Or no, I think he even threatened to release the DMs, but then he didn't have the means to do this. So then he was like afraid that DSP would just wipe out his history. But then DSP exported on his own and then posted them, and they just make him look like a idiot. And then. And it's hard to play any clips of this because it's just like a long story where it's like, and then it's like, if you really want to go see an 8-hour long stream, you can watch the Kino Casino replay. I think they're even talking about it tonight. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think that they're slated to stream after I finish, like in 6 p.m. If you know the time slot, throw it in chat because I don't know it off the top of my head. So if you want to watch that, they got something prepared for that. But yeah, then Phil decides that this is how he's going to get epic revenge. 7:30 p.m. There you go. So 7:30 Eastern time on it's Kino Casino Gaming on Kick. So one of their arch rivals is this guy called Review Tech USA, and I don't know anything about him except what I know from hearing it through them. Basically he's just this fat loser who used to review tech, but now he just gets stoned and pretends to do a politics show. And then he got caught with like bikini pictures of his stepdaughter or something that he only admitted to because Andy Worski made like a joke, and for some reason he confirmed it. So he's also like a imbecile. And the big thing that I think got them even to start hating each other was that Review Tech USA is like the number one Dent Tractor. He is the number one enemy of Darkside Phil. And he, of all people, he puts his big, fat, greasy mitts on that crystallized stone rag and tries every night while high on edibles to squeeze out whatever he can get from the stone rag of Darkside Phil. And since they were doing the thing, in fact, Dickers is probably the reason why they started talking to Phil, is because of them making fun of Dickers. And then, very complicated, I know. Anyways, they hate each other. Darkside Phil hates Review Tech USA. Review Tech USA hates Kino Casino. So after the falling out with Kino Casino, Darkside Phil says, I know just the guy to join me on my crusade and to make it look like I epically own PPP. So Darkside Phil, apropos of nothing, for no reason, literally no reason besides his fantasy revenge plot that concocted in the cockles of his own imagination, decides that he's going to invite over this guy who has hated him for 10 years and who has tried to make him content for 10 years just because he also coincidentally hates PPP. They get him on the show, and this guy is completely nonplussed. He's like, I don't believe you. I don't believe your story that you were the mastermind of anything. You didn't accomplish anything. This is embarrassing for you. Just doesn't believe him. And this is like a stone. And then Darkside Phil gets mad and just reads their DMs for like another hour. It's just like, it's just crazy. However, PPP says that he has a lot of information that's not in those DMs about the things that DSP said to him and the kind of groveling and patheticness. And that's what that's his comeuppance. He's going to say, okay, you want to try to go after me and try to say that you masterminded us to promote your own show, even though you haven't gained any viewers. Well, I have every embarrassing thing you've ever said chronicled in my journal. I have all the receipts because I've been recording this from the very beginning, because obviously I was going to you at some point. And that's what they're streaming tonight. So that's the retelling, my retelling, as it always is. That's my retelling of the thing that happened. Really just speaks monuments not only to how dumb Darkside Phil is, but how dumb people are that hate him. We're just like, how do you not? It's PPP. What the do you think is gonna happen? It's like the DSP is this little piglet, and he's in this cage with like a giant Canadian brown bear. And it's like, there is only one possible outcome here. The brown bear may sit and eat honey and tolerate the presence of this little suckling piglet for hours even, but there is an inevitability. There is only one clandestine conclusion to this pairing. Okay. And that is the PPP thing. That's the full video where he's like talking to Dickers, and it's very long. It's 4.5. So I mean, the PPP stream was like 8 hours. I remember I started listening. I couldn't sleep that night, so I started listening like at the beginning of the night, and then I was listening all the way up until like 2 or 3 a.m. So it's like, okay, this is way too long. But I sat there faithfully playing Dota 2 and listening to PPP go, whoa, buddy. Fun. Awesome. Okay, let's see Darkside Phil up.
I don't understand. Why is the karma of my... What's going on? What the hell just happened?
DSP outlives another.
What the hell just happened? What? Why did I die? Why did I just die?
Okay.
I had 1 day of work. What happened?
So Darkside Phil. There's a game called Envoy, which apparently is like the hot and coming like Sims game. And from my understanding, Envoy has been so successful because it's just so much better than The Sims that The Sims is now desperately pumping out LGBTQIP+ slop. and their next Sims game is going to be like a tablet game that is just completely pause. So EA is like shitting itself because this envoy is eating their lunch and they don't know what to do about it. And even Darkside Phil is playing this game. Now apparently Darkside Phil decided that he was going to do a virtual reality game where he could live any kind of life that he wanted to. So naturally he makes himself completely alone with no wife and children. Then he goes to work for one day and virtual Phil dies immediately. My understanding is that because it is a Korean-made game, it has a karma, unlike The Sims. So unlike The Sims has no concept of karma because it's a Western game. The Koreans, they make a Sims game, you're like, well, you got to manage your confusion level. So there is karma. And if your karma gets too low, you just die. So somehow, Philip Brunel, in playing this game, reduced his karma so low that he just stroked out and died. And from my understanding, it's because he did not read any of the instructions warning him desperately that he had very low karma and was going to die. In fact, I think even... Oh, sorry. That's actually the wrong thread. I think if I scroll down a little bit. There's a guy that posted the warning. Oh, here it is. The karma status of the Zoy is in a risky state. Meow. If you don't properly manage the karma of the residing Zoys, you may soon have an interview with the CEO. Meow. And then there's a tutorial link that says, manage your karma properly. Meow. And then you can click that to read how to manage your karma. Darkside Phil in Classic Dark Session did not manage his karma, and he did in fact meet the CEO. Meow. So DSP had his 43rd birthday over the last week on Sunday. And he had a little stream, and he did what he usually does on his birthday, I think. He had a little of some drink. And as he drank, he became a little bit emotional. A wee bit emotional, chat. Overwhelmed with emotion in the form of love for his wife. Truly very wholesome. Many people have said that this is gay. But I disagree. I think that Darkside Phil loving his wife is wholesome Big Chungus 100%, chat. Let's take a look.
I'm just going to tell you this right up front. If I'm feeling like I drank too much, I'm going to stop. All right? I don't owe anything. This is not a contract that I am owing you. Like, let's say, for example, today it's my birthday and people are very generous and I raise a bunch of money. That doesn't mean I owe you 20, 30 shots. I'm going to kill myself. Sorry, it's reality here. This is not some stupid jackass show where I'm going to be sitting on thumbtacks and stapling my balls to my leg and drinking so much that I need to go get my stomach pumped.
You hear that, chat? No matter what PPP or Andy Worski say to Darkside Phil, he will not staple his balls to his leg. Sorry, gay logs. This is not the clip of him crying about his wife. Maybe I hope the DSP people didn't let me down. I commit to you. I'm gonna watch every short clip of Darkside Phil until we're at current day. What the?
I just made a giant stain on my chair. No lie.
Oh my god. It's one thing to look that bad. It's another thing to say that immediately after. Once more, that's great.
I just made a giant stain on my chair. No lie.
That's so funny. Impeccable. Okay. So one of the things that he did on stream for his birthday is apparently he got a Lego Minecraft set. And for some reason, I can't explain this, but there is a kid-adult phenomena where apparently people in their 30s and 40s are buying and you can find these at Walmart. They're like premium boxes of Legos and like these like bougie looking black boxes that are like licensed IP. And for some reason, like adults are obsessed with this shit. I knew that Amber Lynn was buying this shit for years, but apparently other people are doing it besides Amber Lynn. And he couldn't do it, apparently. It's an 8+ game Lego set, and he couldn't do it, so Apparently, this is Darkside Phil trying to figure out the Lego set, and it's not going well, according to Pepperjack. I mean, alcohol probably doesn't help with that. Where is the crying? Okay, so the tweet has come in. Phil has cried. I better see a clip of this. Here's 5 seconds by Negger, so this is a good chance of being good.
Who cares that Ethan Ralph lives in a shack in Mexico?
So DSP has confirmed that Ethan Ralph lives in a shack in Mexico. I care a lot. I'm Ethan Ralph's only friend in the entire world. Phil loves Kat so much he forces her to work a shitty minimum wage job at a supermarket even though she's on death's door, while he continues to spend more time than her salary on WWE Champions every year. She's got to earn her own wage, okay? He canceled the stream the next day because he was hungover. Is there no clip of him crying?
Who cares that Ethan Ralph lives in a shack in Mexico?
If we see it once, we see it twice. Okay. Where is the crying? I may not get to see it. Apparently, one of the DSP directors has given himself eye damage, so he can talk about DSP. Okay, I'm gonna round it there. That's the thing. That's what happened.
Because I'm happy. Everything before her was another life. And everything since I met her has been the best life. And I wish that for all of you. I really do. That's why I think that so many people out there are in pain and are hateful and hate others and think it's okay to step on others. I got to step on others to get ahead. I got to hurt others to get ahead because you're not happy. Because if you were happy, you wouldn't want to crush others. You would need to crush others because you would be okay. There's so many people out there who are hurting and no one gets it.
He cried over Kat. Everyone laughed at him. It's based to love your wife, chat. That's how it works. That's called being trad. Unlike Tim Pool, who endorsed or talked positively about Andrew Tate, DSP remains a trad man. Let's go to DSP. DSP was streaming, and despite the fact that he has constant money issues and makes like $20 a stream, he decided that he was going to buy a Nintendo Switch. Now, I left on the cutting room floor a bunch of stuff about the Nintendo Switch. Apparently, it's like $900, and the gamers are very upset about that. And I think that Nintendo is now releasing their first-party games at $80 a pop, which, inflation's a thing, and the price of games hasn't really changed that much. But if you say that, you get like literal essays, 50-minute long videos about how how that's not a good point. So I will say I have no opinion on the raising of the price of video games. I'm not ever going to play a Nintendo Switch 2 game, so it doesn't affect me. It's not me to care about. But Darkside Phil in his infinite wisdom decided that he would buy not just one, but 2 Nintendo 2 Switches, spending almost $2,000 the first minute that the game console is available. And he very loudly and proudly decided to show off that he got the Nintendo Switch. Let's see if I can see this real quick. I don't know if I'll be able to find the exact number, but what he does, because I didn't think about showing this, because he shows off his receipt that he got from Walmart, and the receipt, number one, includes his home address, but it also includes his receipt number. So they took the receipt number and then just called Walmart and canceled the order. And at first, because it was 2 different orders, I think. So he gets a cancellation notice, and he's like, I was going to give that to Kat, or maybe I'd give it back to the community. Like, he was teasing. Like, he obviously bought 2 Switches so he can scalp it and sell the other one at markup. So he bought 2 to make a little bit of money. And then he's going to pretend that it's either for his wife or he's going to give it back to the community as if he's going to give away Nintendo Switch 2 to anybody for no money. So that happens, and he just loses 1 Switch, and he's like, okay, well, I've only lost 1 Switch, right? So he's in his room and he gets a notification, and the conversation goes something like this, chat. Die Nintendo Switch Bestellung wurde von Detractors genannt. Kein Problem. Die zweite Nintendo Switch ist bereits in der Post. Mein Schweinekakerlake. Die andere Bestellung. Die andere würde ebenfalls storniert. Es wird keine Nintendo Switch geben. And then he just freaks the out and starts throwing shit across the room. That's exactly what happened on stream. I think I even have a clip for this where he just throws shit. Wait, here we go. All goals hit, but the trolls break the law to screw me over. Okay, let's see.
Well, everyone, this is the Daily Wrap for Wednesday, the 23rd, 2025. I actually already filmed the Daily Wrap, and it was a really positive, great one. And now I have to refilm this an hour later at 11:16 p.m. to tell you how messed up my situation is when people say things about how Phil over-exaggerates and Phil constantly is just talking out of his butt. So here's what happened today. We had two great streams. The first stream was Oblivion Remastered. Great fun. We hit the goals. Then the late stream was also a great stream of me building the first half of my Lego Piranha plant. We hit the goal again, which means that tomorrow we're doing DSP tries at Chipotle, and that's awesome. At 8:55 p.m., I attempted to get the Switch 2. I was going between multiple different websites, including Best Buy, Walmart, Target, and more. Couldn't get it from anywhere but Walmart. Added 2 to cart. Actually checked out both the Mario Kart bundle and this regular Switch 2. Regular Switch 2 was coming June 5th on release day. The other one is coming June 8th. Great. Checked out, paid, good to go. Finishing up my work, turned the stream off. Okay, I'm going to film the Daily Wrap. As I'm filming this Daily Wrap, I announce, hey, I got 2 Switch 2s. What a great day. Everything's amazing. And then I check my email where it proceeds to tell me that both orders have been canceled. Does it say that it's because of an error on Walmart? No, it says I canceled the orders. So I'm currently talking with Walmart right now about someone socially engineered my account on Walmart.com, and through basically very basic information, what it must have been, because it certainly wasn't anything crazy, they got access and canceled my orders. So now I don't have a Switch 2. I was going to get 2. I was going to keep one, maybe give one to my wife, maybe have a backup in case the Switch 2 failed at launch, because that's what happened with the Switch 1. Maybe eventually do a giveaway. And now I have...
Liar. There's nobody on the face of the planet who believes that Darkside Phil was intending to give away his Nintendo Switch. That shit was scalped for sure. And if it had happened that he got both and one of them died the first week for whatever reason, he would have some other bullshit excuse about why he didn't have, why the other one was gone. Like everyone would be like, "Didn't you buy $2,000 worth of game consoles? Where's the other one?" He's like, well, my cat, you see, Kat's going through her medical issues, and she was in the hospital, and then she was in the oncology unit, and then a little baby child with cancer came out and says, Madame, do you have the Nintendo Switch 2? Could I please just feast my eyes upon its magnanimous glory? And then she was just overwhelmed with sympathy for this dying child that she gave it away. And that's why Darkside Phil only has one Switch. That would be his story. That would be his story for why he scalped the other one.
Nothing. So I want you guys to understand again that when people say that, oh, you know, DSP exaggerates or whatever, no, they actually do this stuff to me. This is why I refuse to give any personal details about anything in my life. This is why I will not film anywhere in my house. I will not do IRL vlogs. Anything that I do that's information, they use to hurt me. So I worked my butt off tonight getting 2 Switch 2s, and now I have nothing.
He worked his
people
butt
screwed
off.
me. I don't even know how they got access to the account. I'm talking to the rep right now, which is the noise that you're hearing, bling, bling, bling. So here's the deal. Tomorrow, Level 1 podcast and the premiere.
Dude, they just called and said, I need to cancel something. I got a receipt. And they're like, oh, what's the receipt number? Who's it going to? Philip Brunel and this address in Seattle. And you want to cancel both? Is that right? Yeah, just cancel both. You just release the order. Like, okay. Okay, is there anything else I can do for you? Thank you for calling Walmart. If you stay at the end, there's going to be a quick survey to tell how I did. That's the social engineering. It requires a little 20 trillion IQ to do this, you know. DSP is apparently in the gutter. He apparently is begging harder than ever before. And I have taken a gander at DSP streams vicariously. And basically, it's really weird. DSP has tried to adopt the Kino Casino mannerism for grifting, where, you know, PPP is like really aggressive, and that's one of like his biggest put-offs, I think, to most people, is that he flat out just says like, can we, like, someone gives him like 10 subs, and he's like, 10 subs, buddy, you got to give me 20 subs for this. And some people find that funny, and other people find it really grating. So that's one of like the biggest turnoffs for Kino Casino for most people. But as I've said many times before, if you're funny, you can get away with a lot more than if you're not funny. PPP is very funny, in my opinion. If you disagree with that, you probably hate him. Because if you strip away the fact he's funny, he's a fat, loud Canadian. And if you're not laughing along with him, you're probably grating your teeth in misery, okay? PPP is funny. Darkside Phil, not funny. Darkside Phil is one of the most painfully unfunny people that has ever lived and has ever maintained his streaming career. So when Darkside Phil gets on his stream and says, I hereby declare that I will get 5 Subaruskis right now, it doesn't work because he's not funny and nobody gives him the subs. And then it's kind of like crowd diving. You know, it's a big, when PPP says, I got to get 50 subs for this, if he doesn't get 50 subs, it's like he tried to crowd surf and everyone's like, holy, there's a fat guy trying to dive into the crowd, run away. And it would look really bad, is what I'm trying to say. So he has to stick that, basically. And if you stop sticking that, you got to stop the shtick, because otherwise you're going to look like a card. Darkside Phil doesn't understand that, and he never sticks the landing. So he tries to do the crowd surfing thing by saying, give me 5 subs, and he jumps off the platform, and he gets nothing. He gets no money. He gets no donos. He gets no subs. And he just looks extremely desperate. It's one of those things where it's like, either it's hot, and, you know, when the business is hot, you can do no right or no wrong. And when the business is cold, you can do no right. It's like that. If you're not hot, if you're not the hot young thing, okay, you can't do the give me subs or, you know, shtick. It doesn't work. He hasn't learned that. And he's mystified utterly and completely by the continued success of the Kino Casino and his continued failure. So he has started to really ramp up the begging. So Pig Go is a site that I think was ran by somebody who was on the forum, and then he got really pissed off at me, or I banned him or some shit. So now it's not associated with the forum at all. But he is begging so hard now. He's actually begging more than he's ever begged in his entire life. So if you just type the word support into this thing and you see the trend, I think these are aggregated by month or by week, maybe. I think by month. In the last month, the last 2 months, he has used the word support in his streams more than 1,500 times. So across all of his streams for those calendar months, he has said aloud to his supporters, I need support. I need your support. I need support to maintain the show. 1,500 times. Which, let's just do the math. I assume that he streams, because he does it like a job, like a normal job. He does like 8 hours a day, 5 times a day, 4 weeks out of a month, right? So that's 160 hours, I think. Yeah, that sounds right to me. 40 times 4. So then we divide, I want to say 1,500 by 160, and it's almost 10 times per stream, or per hour. 10 times per hour, he is telling his audience, I need support. That's what that amounts up to. If he's streaming 40 hours a week, which I think he does, and he's streaming 40 hours a week every week, he's saying this 10 times an hour, man. 10 times an hour. He's saying, you got to give me support. In just the word support. He's not even saying, like this isn't also super chats. He's not saying chats or Venmo or Donos or any other word. He's just saying support, which is really quite incredible. Such as, by the way, if you go to maddie.live/support, that actually works. I forgot I set that up. It'll take you right to the page to show me how to give me money. Someone said I gotta learn how to grift more. It's true. I do have to learn how to grift more. I'm a shitty grifter, chat. I find it embarrassing to ask people for money. I haven't gotten over that yet. That's why I'm such a shitty grifter. He relies on whales, yet also bans them every time they tip anyone else. What could go wrong? Yeah, that's what I mean by Twitch being like the lowest common denominator. I think that everybody on Twitch is like mentally handicapped. I was reminiscing about DSP because this came up in chat, which is why I looked at it at all. But I was talking about how Darkside Phil makes a living off of a very, very small audience. I remember that there was a thing that was published by Twitch directly. And it was like a thing for TwitchCon, just kind of explaining how well or how much money people make. And they showed a graph of the streamers that had, it was like, oh, it was supposed to be like streamers with the most loyal fans. And Darkside Phil was like #1 by a huge mile. Like the amount of money he extracts per viewer is absurd. It was something like $20 per person, and the next highest was like less than 10. So he's able, like for every eye on him, to extract the most amount of money conceivable. And through this mechanism, he's been able to support himself for however many years, even though he's had like a dwindling user base of viewers, basically. So his entire model revolves around having long-term whale retention and extracting extraordinary amounts of money from each one of them. So if he has like whale burnout or bans his fans, which he's been doing increasingly often, you know, it gets worse and worse for him. I am being told we have a statement from our dear leader. He wishes to speak directly to you now through the uppercase I internet chat. Let's see what he has to say.
I don't have to do anything. The things you're begging, I can ask for contributions whenever I want on my own stream, and I can conduct myself however I want, and you'll like it. Too bad. That's my prerogative, and you have no right to try to boss me around and tell me what to do, because you're not my dad, and you're not my boss. I'm my boss. Get it, Chief? Okay. How about wasteful spending? I can spend my money however I want. Right now, I could literally blow thousands of dollars on nothing, and you'll like it, because it's my money. It's not your business. Deal with it, Chief. All right. Diet, I can eat whatever I want.
Me too.
Because it's my life, not yours. Therefore, deal with it. I can shove delicious Takis encrusted chicken sandwiches into my mouth on stream, and you'll watch it, and you'll like it. Get it, Chief? You don't get to boss me around because I'm nobody's bitch. I don't know where you thought this was coming from, that this is going to go well for you. It's not. I can do and say whatever I please, and people will watch it and like it and support it, and you will still be sitting there miserable because you were sitting and watching clips on X.
So true, King. So relatable. Such a relatable, down-to-earth guy when you really think about it. So that was a clip of, I mentioned last stream that DSP was begging harder than ever. And so he's been getting some shit for that in his chat. And that was his response to a person who was calling him out for it. And I kind of want to shout the guy. Apparently this guy, when he does these, I don't know if this came from a tweet or if this guy actually, I'm going to give him a sticker just in case if he made this, because I think his idea is that to make this fair use, he green screens it and then you can do whatever you want with it. And it's very funny. I like it a lot. So that's DSB. He's very angry. He should try he should try smiling more. You know what I mean? I wish I could do that with other locales. Imagine if like, I don't know if Chris Chan could just project himself like as a talking head, like from The Wizard of Oz, onto my stream. That would improve the stream, I think. That would actually elevate things. You could, I have to, dude, that's how you do it. That's how I do the super chat system if I ever rework it. Back in the day when we had that Russian dono chat thing, I had a soundbite for $100 donations that were from Keffels. And it was Keffel saying, "Thanks for the money. I'm going to go spend it on drugs." I got to go find that actual original clip and green screen out Keffels' head so that when that happens, you actually see the head talking on the video. We can do that for everybody. It would be like the Nick Ricada AI super chats, but real life chat, real life, real words. Darkside Phil, I'm not sure if he actually met this goal, but he started up a begathon, as he does. And he asked for money for an emergency. And he actually raised $1,500, which I can't even believe because he rarely makes even like $100 in some of his streams. But he said after raising $1,500 that the reward for doing so would be that he gets the Sonic Pickle Burger from the fast food restaurant Sonic. I don't know what a pickle burger is. Burgers often have some kind of pickle on them. I'm going to assume it's like a joke item or it's like a whole... Let me pull it up. What kind of lazy streamer am I? I'm not even pulling this up. Sonic Pickle Burger. I have to use Bing because Google doesn't like my VPN. That's too bad. It looks like a regular burger with pickles on it. It's literally all pickles. That's not what I get when I look on... Is this like an actual menu item, or do you just ask for a pickle burger? Like, do you have to edit? I will show you this when I figure out what the fuck it is. The funniest part of the stupid Sonic Pickle Burger, see, there's all the delivery apps are using it for the banner art for the restaurant. It's not even an option to order. Oh, it is literally all pickles. Dude, if I search Sonic Pickle Burger on X, I get nothing but stuff about DSP. Okay, so it's literally a burger that's all pickles, I suppose. I'll show this this picture. Okay, so there it is. And I think you can order this with fried pickles as well, in case you really want to go the extra mile and get all those pickles. So he said he would eat this and he got $1,500. So the Sonic closest to his house is 6 miles away. And then he goes onto the app, and he tries to order the pickle burger. Now the delivery app, Uber Eats, does not have the pickle burger, despite using it as promotional material, which sounds like a false advertising. Sounds like a class action lawsuit waiting to happen. If I download your app to order this pickle burger, I expect to get a pickle burger, chat. This is America. Don't with me. But DSP pulls out his Uber Eats and he looks for the pickle burger and he can't find it. And he goes, I can't order the pickle burger on stream. And if I were to go and get the pickle burger in real life, or to go outside and venture forth into the bright unknown of Washington State, it would take me an hour. It'd take me an hour to drive out of my gated community, go to the Sonic and order a pickle burger and get back home safely. So he refused, despite making $1,500 to eat a pickle burger. He was too lazy to like take a break and go get it from Sonic and then eat it on stream because Uber Eats wouldn't deliver it for him. And that's so lazy and disrespectful. I told my chat months ago that if I went to Maryland and I got me some Old Bay vodka and I was going to drink it on July 4th, and guess what? I did it. I literally, do you know how far Maryland is? I drove through Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, even the District of Columbia to get to Maryland so I could buy Old Bay vodka. And even then, they didn't have it in a bunch of stores. And they said it was like a gimmick that they only did for a limited run. So I had to hunt this down. I literally went to an Old Bay store that sold it sold like Old Bay underwear, and they said they couldn't sell liquor. So even at the Old Bay store, they did not have liquor. So I had to go and find a liquor store that still had this gimmick, and I found it. That's the effort. I drove 12 hours to get this beverage, chat. That's what I did for you, my audience, my lovely audience that pays me money to go and eat cheese, fine cheese. By the way, I did a cheese review on Locals. If you want to go to matttheinternet at locals.com. I gave up. I couldn't find a cheese store to my liking in the near, so I bought cheese on the internet. And you know what? It was real good. I'm not even gonna lie. It was a cheese from Massachusetts, Marion, Massachusetts. It was a goat cheese, and it was one of the finest cheeses I've ever had. So, if you want my cheese review, join the Locals chat. Anyways, my lovely audience pays me money for these extravagant expenditures. My tax write-off Old Bay vodka. Probably the only person in the entire world in the history of mankind has ever written off Old Bay vodka as a tax write-off. And it is. It is an expense. It is a business expense. I use it to support my business endeavors. And a cheese box as a business. No, I'm probably the only person that ever wrote off cheese. At least like a personal box. You know what? That's a lie. I bet you lots of people write off cheese as a business expense. Especially people that make shit with cheese for a business, because I think they're called restaurants, chat, and I think it's a business expense to buy cheese for a restaurant. Anyways, what are we talking about? Oh yeah, Dark Side Phil, $1,500. Enough money, honestly, to drive out of state to get a pickle burger. But he didn't. He couldn't go 6 miles to get the pickle burger. So all those pay pigs that said, "Oh boy, I can't wait for Darkside Phil, my favorite streamer, to go get the Sonic Pickle Burger. I would love to see my favorite streamer, Darkside Phil, eat that pickle burger so much. I'm gonna give him all of my money." So he gets that pickle burger, and after all, it's for a good cause, because Darkside Phil is in real bad trouble. He can't pay his bills. He can't pay his bills. He can't pay his rent. He can't pay his electricity or his internet. I gotta give that Darkside Phil some of my money. Then I worked at the gas station for $7.50 an hour. I gotta give him some of my money. He really needs it for that pickle burger. But I can't wait to see him eat that pickle burger. And then the dent gives him that money and watches his favorite streamer play shitty games very shittily for hours. And after he reaches his goal, he says, "Sorry, chat. Just can't do it. No pickle burger today." I think who has been more harmed by their streamer? The Canny crew when they watch Saba and she doesn't show tummy, or the Dark Side Phil Dent who paid $1,500 for him to eat the pickle burger and didn't see any pickles? You know, there is nothing but pure love. Pure love. Not just pure as in the love itself is completely pure, but it is also without any sort of evilness either. And they just wanted to see the pickle burger, and he was denied. He is the real victim here. Nobody has been more victimized by a streamer than that guy. It brings me to tears. That's a travesty. No wonder why these A-logs beat Darkside Phil to death. They hold bats and they slam that bat into their hand like, I can't wait to beat that Darkside Phil's ass. They're completely justified in their righteous anger because he won't eat the pickle burger that he was paid $1,500 to eat, chat. Sad. DSP should show tummy. Would the dent spam the crying emojis if he showed tummy? Would they be like, "Uh-oh, pig roach belly erotic"? What a dark and twisted world we live in. Okay, this is Darkside Phil. He has come back from a week-long hiatus that almost calls like a civil war in the A-log community. Because without DSP drip feeding them a constant stream of inane slop to masturbate over, like fentanyl, they just start freaking the out. The becoming conscious and having to look around and assess things as normal drives them into hysteria. So they almost lost their minds. And now he's back. Now he's come back. He said that it wasn't a good trip that he had. It was also an unplanned trip, so that was very suspicious. What he is saying is that he's going to sue everybody. basically. I think he's been emboldened by Billy Mitchell. So he's threatening to sue people, and I'll just let him speak for himself here.
Oh, and I will say one more thing before we move forward. As of today, officially, there are parties involved documenting all of that. Who's doing what, how often they're doing it, how much they're doing it, when they're doing it, what they're actually doing. Like, are you actually rebroadcasting me fully? Are you just clipping and editing and doing transformative work? All of that is being documented as of today, formally. I'm going to have everything I need in the future. So if you're out there and you think you've had the gravy train all this time and, oh, it's all been free and clear, as of today, I'm giving you official notice publicly. I'm sure this will be clipped. Everything is now being documented for the future. So I hope that if you're someone who actually steals my content illegally and benefits from it financially, that you have like a backup, because pretty soon everything you're doing is going to either come to an end or be mine and I'm going to own it. Okay. If you pay for your house right now, your mortgage, with money that you make because you steal my content every day, well, pretty soon you're not going to have that money anymore. And in fact, all the money that you've made is going to be mine. You understand? So I'm just saying, now might be a good time to like go get a job and get some job applications out there. Maybe go, sing some fries, or maybe Uber driver or something, something like that. Now might be the time to dip your toe into the lake of something else, because the days of milk and honey for you are coming to an end. Everything is now being recorded, and you've gotten fair notice now, just so you know. So anyone else from this moment on who continues to do that behavior, that illegal behavior, you already knew that this was happening. You have no one to blame but yourself. I've given you fair public notice. Fair enough? Okay. Let's continue.
Well, no, it's not fair enough. If people are making transformative content, you don't get to bitch and moan about it and then just say that it's yours and you're going to sue them. That's actually unconstitutional. You can't just steal other people's shit. You can't stop people from talking about you. That's actually not fair enough. Matter of fact, it's not fair enough, bish. Let's see.
Take that, because wait a minute. He's earning a good living on his own merits, but we were always of the impression, our narrative was always that he couldn't do that. So how is it possible? Right? Because people actually like the content, because people like me. Unlike you, because when I was gone, your content was dead. No one cared about you when I was gone, because they're not watching for you. They're watching for me. Don't you get it, Leech? Don't you get it, Parasite? I'm the content. That's why I'm entitled to everything you get out of it. And I will have it someday.
I think that Wings of Redemption has a setup with his A-logs where he takes part of their ad rev and then they get to clip his shit and monetize it. So I don't know. It depends on how much of the content they're actually borrowing. Because the clip channels exist kind of in this gray area where, like, theoretically they're fair use, because there is precedent set that taking something in its entirety and transplanting it to a hostile space, like a different channel, is inherently a kind of transformation that changes the work. But all things intellectual property are like gray area and very case-by-case basis. Like the precedent where that's set, it's the Sargon case. And what Sargon had did was very clearly transformative, because he edited the video to he edited the sequence, so it's still one video or multiple videos by the same person, 100% her own content, but he takes clips and juxtaposes them next to each other to out her as a hypocrite. And that's very, very clearly transformative. But the judge in that case went really broad and said that the fact that it was even on his channel in the first place is a transformative element. So clips have never been tested in court, probably because the value of a clip is so low that it doesn't make sense to take that to court, because a trial is $75,000 minimum. So I'm not sure. I don't think DSP can afford that. But he might be able to voluntarily work something out with them if they're fearful of losing their channel for whatever reason. It depends on how he plays it. There is precedent either which way of him just completely losing and then also him getting what he wants, So he could win. However, I think legal mindset, who apparently is a really big channel now and has like 250,000 legal dick suckers, but apparently he's a big channel now, respected in the VTuber legal community, which is just the most disgusting thing I've ever heard in my life. But apparently he's been contacted by DSP or knows people who have.
Bob Starkey says, "Hey, Andrew, sorry it's off topic. I tagged you on Twitter regarding DSP wanting to create contracts with restreamers. We'll love your taking it." I need to look at that because there's I saw Billy Mitchell threatening to sue DSP. That would be a great one to talk about. And DSP has reached out to me personally, like behind the scenes. I just told him, "Hey, look, thanks for reaching out to me. I'm not the lawyer you need." I gave him some recommendations of a lawyer to contact. Obviously that can help him if he wants to start, suing people. DSP is a very interesting character on the internet. And I think there's going to be a long saga for DSP, including some legal battles. So look forward to that.
I guess he would just go for copyright infringement, which is like a very strong favored tort because IP laws are batshit. But I'm not even sure. How much do you think those retards around DSP even make from just like clipping his channel and slapping in a 45-second long intro sequence where there's like Star Wars references and shit? You think Duty makes like $1,000 a month off his clips? He might. Clip channels can make a surprising amount of money. Hell no, couple hundred. I guess Zyzern would know. You were a clip channel at some point, right? I know that you archived all the Medicare streams. It's hard to say because, oh yeah, 2,000 rupees? Even if it is like $500, that's a lot of money if you're like a Malaysian or some shit. Yeah, I imagine if DSP is properly advised by someone who knows what they're doing, and he also follows directions and does exactly what he's told, I imagine he can probably swing a branch and get at least shared ad revenue from these clip channels that just clip the best parts of his streams and shit. And then I don't know. I feel like he could. I feel like he could get away with it. It's not unprecedented and it's not dumb. The laws are set up in his favor, and there are people in his exact position who've done it before. Jordy did it. So we'll see. He won't? Oh, he won't follow advice. His clip channels will quit. The thing is, you say that. Like, okay, a principled person who really hates DSP would never ever take money. But DSP's biggest A-logs are like retarded, like psychopaths. So I don't think that's actually off the table. I think if you're like an Indian guy and clipping DSP is something that you enjoy, you get to do from home on your iPhone, and it makes you $500 a month, you're the richest man in your village and you don't do hard labor. If you're a Pajit and you have the option of taking $500 a month doing clips or $250 a month doing clips and sharing that with DSP, are you going to turn down that money and risk losing it all or getting sued and losing your channel? Probably not. So, yeah, I feel like he could do it. Are all the Clippers Jeets? I don't know. I'm just speculating. I don't know a whole lot about DSP's people still, except that they hate me more than life itself. So